Good morning. Hey, newest girl. Yeah, I hate living through historical events too. I, you know what? I need to bring Mina into this just to, cause so the whole situation happens, but I just read a tweet that I just went, oh no, why? Okay, hold on. Good morning, Mina.
Good morning, Warfy.
You remember before the stream started, I said, hey, we're not going to talk about this thing?
Yeah?
I'm going to mention it in passing, plus, like, just, like, say, we're going to be ignoring this for the whole stream. A band I follow just posted something that is, like, bro, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah?
What the actual fuck are you thinking? Hang on. I posted it in the VC text.
Let me take a look. Oh my god.
If that's not deleted in the next 30 minutes, I will be very surprised.
Yeah, they're gonna get a visit from the Secret Service.
Oh my god. Like, okay. Okay, so I might need to say this a second time during the stream just in case people come through. I'm gonna make it very clear right now. We're not talking about it. The one thing I would just say is, like, just look out for your friends. Just look out for your friends in times like these.
Community is the strongest force we have against this kind of thing.
Yes. The closest I will acknowledge, the closest I will get to acknowledging that is abridging the tweet I just saw, which was basically someone saying, yeah, we didn't, but we had plans. What, bro? Like, like, opinions on this aside, that is an insanely stupid thing to be tweeting right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. Enough of that insane shit. We've got enough insane shit in Ace Attorney to deal with right now. So, yeah, it's been a bit of time since, our last stream, because I decided I needed the time for 14, and boy was I right. So, we're about to enter the court case for, or the second court case for, sorry, second trial, that's the better way of saying it.
Second trial segment.
Yeah. And the major thing that hasn't been kind of talked about, which I imagine is going to be the center of this whole thing, is the staging of the bodies after the murder. We've got an idea that someone can move onto the platform based on the video of, oh my god. I've forgotten.
The Guitar Serenade?
Yes, exactly. Game? You good? Oh,
yep, sorry.
Oh, sorry, no, I was talking to the game, not you.
Oh. Sorry, I coughed very loudly before you said that, so I thought you heard it.
Timing. No, like, I used my controller and it wasn't doing anything, so it's like, oh, okay. Maybe if I convince the game to start working. Court record, thank you. La Miroir, that's it. Okay, yeah, oh, yeah, and then, oh my god, we haven't even talked about this dude at all! Oh my god. Ugh. Oh, no, hang on. I just realized what I was gonna name this stream. I actually had an actual title for this stream the last time. We finished it. Dirty Cocoon Money. There we go. That's better. Yeah, I completely forgot about that for some reason. Probably because this whole case has just been a wave of that shit, and I've become numb. I mean, surely there can't be more stupid shit, right?
Surely not.
Surely not.
Surely not.
Hello, Trucy.
Well, this is it.
Today's the day it all goes down. And then there was yesterday. This meeting is over. Sorry. Just give us 5 more minutes. We could call them back after that. Sorry, no go. Come on, piano boy. We're leaving.
Arian, wait!
I never liked you. Either of you.
Such an edgelord thing to say to a 15-year-old magician. Like, come on.
Insane.
Darn it, we were so close. He was about to tell us. Hey, Apollo.
He didn't want us to hear what Maki had to say. And I think I know why. Time to bring down a little justice. Oh my god.
Ah!
What was that?
He is heard, but unseen. Who's that talking? Valid Grammary.
Alan.
Oh no, that's good.
Yeah. Alan Grammary. I exclaimed as he walked in through the door normally. I assure you that was a very normal exclamation and not me being very tired of this man.
You aren't the witness today, are you, Uncle Valen? A preposterous proposition. How could I stand to stand upon the stand? Why, my secrets be free for the plucking. I might even have to sign autographs. That is why I intend to remain hidden for the entire day.
You know, now that I'm looking at him again, I definitely, especially his eyes, do remind me of a Yu-Gi-Oh character.
Yeah.
It's kind of like formed in the same way, which I don't think Trucy's. No, no one else's eyes are really like his, where like the white is in the center. That's probably just incidental, because obviously they do the lighting and all that, but yeah, it makes him look like a Yu-Gi-Oh character.
Ooh, with vanishing magic? Indeed, I will jump upon an express train and express myself to the next town over. But before I go, a word of warning. Warning? What? A grand grammary glamour resides at the root of all that has happened. Do not forget this truth.
Glamour? Are you trying to say transmog?
A spell, a sorcery, a great illusion. Miss Trucy, though it pains me to part so, I need to get in line for a ticket. Farewell! The fact that it just vanishes instead of fading out like most sprites do.
Yeah.
He booked it.
Yep.
He was like, I gotta like, hop town immediately.
Yeah, what? Huh. That's interesting, Dallin. Is there any reason you're trying to leave town, like, immediately as the trial is starting?
And there he goes.
He sure seemed happy about that illusion thing.
Oh, big illusions are the bread and butter of a magician. You can't pull off a show without one. The big illusion's always a spectacle to remember. Usually it involves cutting up things like people or elephants, or the Eiffel Tower. Anything, really.
Wait, what was that last one? So he was talking about what we saw at the concert.
The memoir's disappearing act.
And Prosecutor Gavin's exploding guitar.
I wonder what he meant by it being at the root of all that has happened.
Well, it's about time. Shall we go?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
The scheduled starting time for the trial has been changed. The trial will not be commencing until 10:30 a.m. Sorry for the inconvenience.
Huh? Did something happen? This is a first.
It was by the judge's request, some urgent personal business.
Great. We stayed up too late last night watching courtroom dramas. Hey, Apollo, do you remember when he was talking about his sick relative? It's kind of a dick thing to say. It's like, ah, yeah, I bet he's being lazy. Fuck.
Apparently he's visiting the hospital again.
Foot and mouth, Apollo. The hospital?
I believe it was mentioned that the Chief Justice's son is unwell. Apparently his condition worsened considerably this morning.
Oh, the Chief Justice's son. So it's not his relative, but someone...
No, just a family friend's relative.
Right. Still, yeah.
Oh, that's right. Remember yesterday morning, the judge said he had to go visit him after the trial. There's an article about it in the newspaper.
My eyeballs had to read in Curitis again.
If you care to read about it yourself.
Article about the Chief Justice's son who is inflicted with incuritis. Amazing. Incuritis.
Also, shouldn't it be afflicted, not inflicted?
Inflicted?
That sounds like a status condition.
Yeah, no, he... the Chief Justice's son was yeah. Oh my god, yeah, like infected or afflicted, not
It's like, oh, you didn't do the boss mechanic correctly. Now you have incuritis.
Elden Ring DLC 2.
Someone should make a mod that replaces Scarlet Rot with incuritis.
Oh, that would be amazing. First case in country disease strikes closer to home than ever before. Incuritis. Where have I heard that before?
So I believe this is the first time you've learned in universe that the Chief Justice's son has incuritis.
Yes, that is true. It was like kind of alluded to that, like, and it did very much seem. Yeah, at the time it felt like it was a bit more set up of like, oh yeah, wow, look at how shit the justice system is. The judge is prioritizing something actually kind of important, but like is prioritizing that over judging a case correctly. But no, it was kind of leading to this, where it's like, oh, look at that. We've got the silk cocoon that could cure it. Well, actually, no, we only have a replica, but I guess Marquis was also potentially marketing that. It's kind of funny. This could only happen with the word incuritis, but in a lot of cases, Ace Attorney characters will end up repeating something like, huh, where have I heard that before? And, like, that's not... Hell, that's not just limited to Ace Attorney. I feel like a lot of games, especially ones that have been localized from Japan, tend to linger on, like, the last phrase said or something to either prompt the player to recall something or setting up talking about something that's already been covered. But...
Metal Gear.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, holy shit, that really is, like, a perfect example of that. That's been mean to hell enough that I think it just, like, it's extant from that to me. Like, that is no longer dialogue in a game. It is, in and of itself, a thing.
It's a good way of characterizing Snake, because he does that a lot to show that he's listening. Like, he will listen to someone do a long explanation of something, and then he'll repeat, like, the last word or concept they said, just to be like, okay, continue, please keep explaining.
Yeah. It's a little more incredulous when the fucking phrase being repeated is incuritis. Like, that isn't the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard. Oh, where have I heard that before?
I like to read that article for us, Apollo.
Does that have anything else to say? Or did we just get the close-up? Yeah, we just...
This is just a piece of evidence in your inventory that says the Chief Justice's son has incuritis.
Yeah. And the rest of it is lorem ipsum... I forget the rest.
Just leave the TV guide page to me.
Try not to lose the page with the funnies if you can.
Noted Garfield fan, Apollo Justice.
I need to see the latest Heathcliff.
I think Apollo owns a ham shirt.
Yeah. No, I think he does.
Ahem. My apologies for the delay.
Oh, you're cutting out a bit there, Mina. Oh no. Mina, no. Yeah, you're still roboting for me. Hold on a sec. Hold on. I can see the mic going still, but I can't hear anything. Robot voice assistant. No! Oh, hold on. Mina has left the stream. Mina is back in the stream. Can you hear me, Mina? Oh, no. Not internet issues. Come on. Hold on. I should check. I should really quickly check that I'm not having issues. Really. Okay, yeah, things are loading. Okay. Okay, Mina may have just disconnected. We'll give it a second. You know what I should have? I should have a technical difficulty screen on here somewhere. Honestly, I've been meaning to... oh, hello?
Is this working better now?
Yes, that seems to be working better now.
Gordon, I hope this works fine now. Okay.
Cool. Okay.
You get to keep going?
Yeah.
Stack, alright. We're gonna make the judge do that extremely white streamer thing.
Oh, yeah?
Court is now in session for the trial of... Oh, I'm going to butcher this, aren't I?
Man. You know what was funny? Well, not so much funny. Like, in anticipation of a Dawn Trail, I was like, yeah, actually, I think there's a lot of phrases and stuff that is just gonna go over my head in terms of pronunciation. And then I just literally Googled Mesoamerican pronunciation and found, like, university or just, like, .edu sites that had, like, a bunch of examples of here's how you pronounce this consonant when next to a vowel, all that kind of shit. And,
yeah,
hey, look at that!
I did the same thing for our podcast. There was a Digimon that was revealed recently that's based on an Aztec god of rain. And You know how like Aztec names are. Sometimes they have a lot of syllables and strange, or not strange, but like stresses on syllables that are not as common in the English language.
Yes.
So I saw the name printed, and before I said it, I just looked it up how to pronounce it, and Wikipedia just has a pronunciation guide. So it was like, cool, now I can pronounce this perfectly every time.
Yeah, exactly. And like obviously, like in some circumstances, depending on what the media is actually doing with it, like you can either see that it has a literal pronunciation existing, or you can piece it together from like a pronunciation guide.
Yeah.
All that to say, it really doesn't take that much to try and actually engage with a language you don't usually speak, or has unusual pronunciations compared to your native language. It takes like a little bit of Googling and maybe cross-referencing. You didn't turn up something that's garbage, but no, most people will just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna butcher it, but that's fine because I don't understand it. So I don't know. As someone who likes linguistics and also just like, I guess, tries to learn as much as he can, that really irritates me. Not the bit where you misunderstand it, or not the bit where you can actually trip up, but the absolute refusal of like, well, I'm never gonna learn it, or it's not worth learning or anything like that.
Yeah. And like it's just so annoying because I think like you said, like language is so fascinating, and I love hearing like different pronunciations for stuff. Like I went down like I don't know why, I can't remember what prompted this, but like about a year and a bit ago, I went down this like Chinese history binge, and like seeing all these like the names of like these different emperors and different like major political figures, and learning how their names are pronounced, and then learning that most media, including like modern stuff like the Dynasty Warriors video games, just butchers the pronunciation, is so funny to me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I've been falling on the Honkai Star Rail hole pretty hard recently, and it's just so funny hearing which voice actors care to pronounce the Chinese names properly and which don't. One of the main characters, his name is Dan Heng, like Danheng, and it's so funny hearing some of these American-ass voice actors say Dan Hang with their full chest.
Fuck. Oh,
like, I feel
man.
like the voice director should be more on top of that. Like, literally just say, no, that's not how you pronounce it. Can you take that one more time, please?
Yeah, exactly. Like, and you'd have to be very careful with a joke about that, but you have to be very deliberate with mispronouncing stuff like that, because, and so, to give a little bit of an Australian bent on this stuff, I grew up in a time, or I grew up with a lot of people who weren't just white, and I had a lot of exposure early on to a lot of people from like Southeast Asia, from like, you know, your India, Sri Lanka, stuff like that. And one of the names you saw around a lot was Nguyen. Spelled N-G-Y-U-E-N, if I recall correctly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And boy howdy do I have a lot of memories of white teachers trying to pronounce Nguyen, and just like, it's so funny.
I see,
but
it's so funny you say that, because I had a friend growing up who had the same problem where that was his last name. And teachers would always try and pronounce it. He would always sigh and say, "Just win." Just say, pronounce like W-I-N. Just say win.
Literally. And the funny thing is, I ended up finding the pronunciation for that very recently, because it came up again, and I just realized, like, I don't think I ever actually understood how to properly pronounce that, and I can't find the video, and it would take me a little bit to get it, but someone, I think a language teacher, came up with a really clever way of actually saying how you pronounce it. And he basically constructed an English sentence that had the pronunciation of it in it. And it was really
that
simple
is
to
really
see, like,
interesting.
yeah, it used the back half of some word and then another word to construct the actual pronunciation. And, like, this is the kind of thing you miss with that, because that's really fucking clever and fascinating that actually you look at that word and you're like, that's not pronounced how I think it is, but then you look at English words and you can actually reconstruct how that is pronounced with completely different... yeah, it's just... I wish people were more curious about things like that so we wouldn't have just people butchering other cultures' fucking historical figures and shit like that. Like, it doesn't matter.
Exactly, yeah.
Alright. Pet peeve rant over for the day. Maki Tobae, our suspect fortissimo.
Right. It's his trial in any case.
Defense is prepared, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready to rock. Is something wrong, Your Honor?
No. Well, yes. It's just, I've been friends with the Chief Justice since we were students. It pains me to see him going through such difficult time.
Incuritis, was it? What a stupid name. The article says, gasp, there's no known cure.
Well, but what was the immunologist? Oh god, I don't know who would be naming shit like that. Were they having a bad day? What?
I guess it depends on whether this is like is it a virus? Is incuritis a virus? Is it a genetic disease?
Yeah.
Is it a congenital disease? Like what's the cause of it?
Yeah.
Can you catch incuritis, or are you born with incuritis?
Yeah, and itis is like, if there's a
like laryngitis and meningitis.
Yeah, which I don't know if I know. Often the root words mean something in terms of like the actual thing's function because they're literally meant to describe it. But I forget if itis means you can or can't catch it.
So it looks like itis is inflammatory disease.
Okay, so it's not an indication of that then. It could be
yeah.
It's just describing that it causes inflammation.
Yeah. It's specifically the inflammation of an organ, if this medical dictionary I'm reading right now is to be believed. Like bronchitis is the inflammation of the throat, gastritis is the inflammation of the stomach, and neuritis is the inflammation of the brain, etc.
Yeah, that tracks. Okay. Herr Judge, let me say, with all honesty, I feel your pain. Ugh. But now is not the time for tears. Now is the time for law.
Indeed. We'd left off at quite the juncture yesterday.
I asked Interpol about that number. IPXX314206. Agent registered under this number was Romain Latouche.
Thanks for looking into that for us, Detective Crescend. It's a great help.
Oh, no problem at all, Your Honor. I'll be heading out.
Wait. That voice just now. It was him. I'm sure of it.
It was him?
That voice I heard talking to Mr. Latouche when I heard the gunshots fired. It was him. It was Mr. Darien.
Not really the same, but still in the realm of lack of cultural knowledge related to names. There was this guy on a server I was in who mentioned offhand that his last name was Singh, and the mods were like, please don't talk about doxing information, even about yourself. And he had to explain, like, that does not narrow me down at all. Yeah, if you revealed that your last name is Nguyen, that wouldn't be narrowing it down. Because, like, word names, especially in Southeast Asian some Southeast Asian countries, like, the last name, quote unquote, isn't actually considered the last name, even though it's second. But yeah, also, second of all, do you understand how common that name is? And like, to be fair though, in the mod's defense, I feel like it's just like, you can't take the risk with that, right? Because if someone thinks their name is really common, like, they might say it, and sure, it might not narrow it down, but someone might feel empowered to actually look for that, or stuff like that. It's the kind of thing where, like, you have a blanket rule about doxing, and, you know, don't say your real name or anything like that. But then, if you make the one allowance, people will start towing that line, and it's better to just say, no, absolutely not. We're not inviting anyone to toe the line there and potentially risk people. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be on the mods for not removing that stuff when it does actually matter, you know? But it is still funny to consider, completely.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, no way!
It's hysterical to me that that's his reaction, is just, no way.
Yeah, it's like, sir? What do you mean by that?
Not like, no, it wasn't me, or, what are you talking about? Like, no way, dude.
Quite a sensational ending. Who would have thought Darien would guest star in the season cliffhanger as a suspect?
I asked the prosecution to look into this matter. Please tell the court your findings.
Darien Crescend is a member of my band, the Governors. He is also a detective, making the current charges serious indeed. Yet, after investigation, I have found no cause to alter our case, or file new charges. And your reason is? Weren't you aware, Herr Forehead? He has an impeccable alibi.
An alibi?
Unfortunately, as from the player's perspective, that makes me even more suspicious. Because someone constructed an alibi. Let us review the facts again, shall we? The concert was held on the night of the shooting. The concert... Oh, the concert held on the night of the shooting was in three sets. 3? The Governors ripped up the stage during the first set. For the second set, our guest took center stage. The only performers appearing were myself, Lamiwa, and Maki, along with a drummer and bassist for a total of 5. The shooting in the dressing room, however, took place during the third set. Lamiwa, the defendant, Maki Tobae, had left the stage at that point, and the Governors were already rocking. This is when 2 shots rang out at the scene of the crime. Shots heard by Detective Emma Sky, mind you.
And Apollo, you heard them too, right?
Sure did. Furthermore, Lamiwa herself witnessed the moments of the crime. Well, perhaps I should say she heard the moments of the crime. When she claims to have heard Mr. Latouche and Detective Crescend talking.
But that's impossible. Detective Crescend was...
Precisely. Detective Crescend was on stage, getting his groove on, no less. Voila. A perfect alibi.
Hey, that's not German, you can't say that.
Yeah.
Does the defense have anything to add to this?
It's true. When I heard those gunshots, he must have been on stage. Still, something here that doesn't quite add up.
It appears the defense has no objections.
Apollo, you idiot. Apollo, you idiot. He was party rocking in the house at that time.
Everybody was having a good time.
I believe we can safely say that Darian Crescen's alibi has been acknowledged.
Which means that Laméois was sadly mistaken. Her testimony cannot be true.
Very well, of course, if we disregard her testimony. And I see no evidence keeping us from declaring a verdict. If indeed there are no objections.
Apollo, if he declares a verdict now...
Prosecutor Gavin's case is airtight. Laméois might have been lying to protect Maki. How can I rely on her testimony? Wait, what about yesterday in the detention center?
About the case? What about the case?
Wants to tell us about Miss Lotus's death? This meeting's over.
Darian?
Maki was trying to tell us something, I know it. Maybe the best thing to do is ask him, under oath.
Very well, the court finds the defendant. What was his name again?
Your Honor!
No, that wasn't it. It was something like Marquis or Mr. Justice.
Oh, sorry, you were... Oh my god, I am so sorry. Your Honor, before you declare a verdict, I would like to call another witness. Exactly who else do you need to hear from? A witness who, until now, has not been given a chance to speak in this court. Because he doesn't speak English. You don't mean... I do. The defense calls defendant Maki Tobae to the stand.
What? But he doesn't speak English.
We'll use an interpreter. Interpreter? I'm afraid you'll have to look elsewhere. I only spoke a few phrases, such as, I love you and where's the toilet? Very important phrases, I assure you. The defense would like to request Laméois as the interpreter.
Laméois?
Okay. Is someone going to point out a conflict of interest here? I'm super curious.
But there's a possibility she's protecting the defendant.
Mm-hmm.
Close enough.
Yeah, but she'd be interpreting for the defendant. Why would she Apollo? Oh, you sweet summer child. Oh my god.
This is most unusual.
Thank you. Bravo, Herr Forehead. Herr Judge, the prosecution agrees with the defendant's request. If Laméois lies, I'll be able to tell. Even my limited knowledge of the language should be enough for that.
Well, if both prosecution and defense are for this, I see little cause for refusal.
Volpix, is he stupid? I mean... Finally, some progress.
Bailiff, please show the defendant and Laméois to the witness stand.
I suppose there's a first time for everything. Shall we proceed? Your name to begin with. If you would, Laméois.
Yes. He says Maki Tobae, the defendant.
This is certainly a first for this courtroom. Not that we really need an interpretation of that message in particular.
So far, so good.
Very well, Mr. Justice, if you would.
Huh? If I would what, Your Honor?
Would what? You called the defendant to the stand, did you not? Why would you have him... What would you have him testify about?
What do I want him to testify about? I hadn't thought that far yet.
Apollo? Aren't you going to ask him what he was about to tell us yesterday?
How can I if I don't know what he was saying?
Excuse me a moment, if I might speak.
Yes, Lemuroir?
Just now, Maki said that there is something about which he wishes to testify.
Maki wants to testify about something? What could it be?
What sort of testimony is he talking about?
One moment, please.
Ah, the suspense is killing me.
What?
What? What?
Well, Lemuroir?
According to Maki, he has proof of his innocence.
What?
Is this a surprise?
Yahoo! Victory, Apollo! We did it! Yatta!
This is sounding too good to believe. And I know what that usually means.
Well, if that's true, then this is vital testimony. Maki. Please testify to the court.
Very well.
Witness the raw unrivaled power of the DS. 2 witnesses at the same time. We can animate them both independently, potentially. Proof of innocence.
He says the word of Mr. Latus's death came as a great shock. But if the killing truly followed the lyrics of my song, I, that is, he, could not have done it. He says that because the lyrics are in English, he does not understand them.
I see.
Do we know if he can read English? I think he's the one that is the least learned in English, so I could believe that, but...
He wouldn't have understood the English lyrics to the song.
It's a bit weak because, like, you're telling me you don't understand the lyrics to the song of the person you're, like, playing piano for? Like, come on. Video game? Uh-oh. Controller? Hello? Okay, there we go.
That would prevent him from following them so closely.
I wondered what he meant by proof. Why, he would only have to ask Lamiwa to know the meaning of that song. Yeah, that's pretty weak source, honestly. Lamiwa,
Yeah.
did you ever explain the lyrics of that song to him?
I did tell him generally what the song was about. But never in so much detail, and he never asked.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, it's still weak, but, like, hey, yeah, I told him what the song was about, but this is specific to the literal English words on the lyrics. Unless I literally translated the whole thing for him, you don't get these exact events. Sure. Has my oft-repeated warning already fled that forehead? Lamewa might be protecting the witness.
Well, anyway, let's proceed with the cross-examination.
Wait, that wasn't your warning. What the fuck are you talking about? That was the judge. You even said, oh yeah, let him do it. What the fuck are you talking about, Clavier?
Mr. Justice, if you would.
Yes, Your Honor. Something's hidden in that testimony. I know it. Just have to trust my bracelet to tell me where. It worked yesterday. It'll work today.
Hint, hint.
Yeah,
Nudge, nudge.
Oh, and interestingly, we've got 2 characters to actually look at now.
Mm-hmm.
He says the word of Mr. Latus's death came as a great shock. But if the killing truly followed the lyrics of my song, I, that is he, could not have done it. He says that because the lyrics are in English, he does not understand them. Let's start off with this.
Just staring right in the face.
Oh. I saw it. Here again. There. Are in English. Wait. Oh my god. Sorry, this is a random aside. This is literally reminding me of something that happened in Dawn Trail. Like,
Yeah.
someone figures out something based on someone's eye movements, and it's kind of crazy.
The exaggeration of the eye movements reminds me of that one part in Spaceballs when the fake king's like, "Would I lie?" And then there's like a huge side eye.
Oh, perfect.
Gotcha!
Maki, you can't fool my eyes.
Yes.
You glanced toward her the very moment Laméois said the word English. Why? And don't bother interpreting that. He understands me.
Ooh.
Maki, tell the truth. You can understand English, can't you?
What are you saying? Of course he can't. Blah, 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 blah.
Must he continue this charade?
Mr. Justice, Maki says this. I know the word English.
Actually, fair point. Huh?
Before coming to this country, he heard me speaking English. He learned the name for this language, and that is all.
What? Give me a break.
Is that such an unusual word to understand? Do you not know Espanol, for instance?
Thank you, Laméois. Even if your only language is English, I'm pretty sure you could pick out someone talking about other languages, because that's... Usually there's enough of a through line between country and language, or you're familiar enough with the words for the languages that, like, you can tell. Like, hearing English being pronounced in other languages, I'm pretty sure you could probably pick that out, unless it's something like, unless they replace the word for it, right? Sometimes it's loan words, sometimes it's completely different, but like...
Yeah, like the Japanese word for the Japanese language is Nihongo, which you would not be able to pick out unless you're familiar with the fact that Japan has a different name for itself than every other country calls it.
Precisely. Well, yeah, but...
I am sorry, but he truly does not understand your language.
Well, then explain this. How does he know the crime followed the lyrics?
Have you always been such a suspicious-minded lad? It is simple. So simple it hardly requires an explanation. He read about it in the newspaper.
The newspaper?
The Virginian Daily Bugle. You can buy it in this country these days, you know.
That came up before, didn't it?
Ah.
Yes, it did. It doesn't mention the lyrics of Laméois' ballad.
Maki, why you being shady?
Why the fuck you lying?
They've already begun to report about this case in our homeland.
I was right.
What is wrong, Mr. Justice? Your eyes, they are quite fierce all of a sudden.
Oh, sorry, it's the bracelet, don't worry about it. Maki is lying. Maybe it's time to show them proof that he's lying.
Take that!
Getting increasingly red in the face talking to a Mexican person. I know you understand me, your eye moved when I say English. Unironically, one of these days in some language, I wanna learn the equivalent of that Family Guy joke where it's like, oh, actually it's pronounced like this, and no, I don't understand the language, only that sentence and this one explaining it. Like, say what you will about that show, I genuinely think that is like a fucking hilarious bit. knowing two insanely specific sentences in another language. I have here a Borginian newspaper, the Borginian Daily Bugle, as a matter of fact. Indeed, there is a feature article about the case. Could you read this for me, Maki? That's right. It doesn't mention the lyrics.
What? What's this all about?
I'm sorry, Maki. You couldn't have read about the lyrics in a Borginian newspaper.
What does this mean?
But I don't see how this is possible. Ah, I know. He must have heard the lyrics when the police were doing the questioning, yes.
Not possible, as the subject of the lyrics was not brought up in police questioning. I read the full report myself. So, the lyrics weren't in the newspaper, and the police didn't mention them. The only place you could have heard them was in this courtroom. In English, no less. This whole thing is just slowly paring away every single assumption. So this is really interesting because in a lot of cases for games like this, it is all about, like, paring away assumptions. You make an assumption about something, and then it's revealed to not be the case, and you have to kind of rethink about things. It's also kind of the lifeblood of really good puzzle games. You are shown how a mechanic works, you assume some things about that mechanic just by playing with it, and then the game will ask you a question that doesn't seem to make sense based on an assumption you made. And you need to kind of untangle that in your own head. This happens a lot, but I don't know if it's just because of the blind thing, but in this case, I am being more incredulous to any situation where it's just like, actually, this person wasn't blank. Because we've done that like 6 times at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, he's not blind either, is he? Like, no one's blind, no one's Lemuel isn't blind. Like, no one's blind, no one's deaf, everyone can speak English.
The witness will explain herself, himself.
Maki says... He says...
Oh.
Yes?
It is true I read the newspaper. But this is not where I learned of the lyrics. I was mistaken. Now I remember.
You remember?
He says he heard of the lyrics from me.
What? That's right.
Is this true, Lemuel?
Yes, I'm afraid I had forgotten it myself.
Then it looks like our forehead's been jumping to conclusions again.
It seems so, yes.
No. No! He's onto something. I know it. Can't let this chance slip away.
Time is an issue today. Mr. Justice, are you finished with the cross-examination?
What are you gonna do, Apollo?
I'm gonna keep on cross-examining. I better have an angle of attack. Or else. My bracelet's still reacting. Your Honor, please allow me to continue.
If you must, you must. Very well. Witness?
He caved super easily.
Oh, alright then.
I understand.
I can't believe that Darian is actually blind and can't speak English, but instead speaks a language that sounds exactly like English, but whose words have completely different meanings. Yeah, no, yeah. Feels a bit like that.
It was I who explained that the crime followed the song.
Now, if I had to guess, we're looking at the wrong person here. Oh. What? Wait. Oh, yeah, there we go. Okay. This is a really weird tell. Because the tell is her not saying the words.
I think it's just an animation glitch. Do you remember what her tell was the first time you perceived her?
Was it something to do with her hand? No, we can't see her hands. Fuck, no, I don't think I remember.
Do you want a reminder, or do you want to just look around?
I'll look around.
Okay.
How do I... Okay, there, I can back out. But there is something... I have to imagine there's something actually happening in that first phrase, then.
Yeah, I think it's just an animation glitch.
Yeah, I like, what's happening is they're playing the tell animation, but that doesn't have her talking. Like, that would be my guess. So... Fuck. Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Gotcha!
2 for 2, baby. Lamiwa, I'm currently cross-examining Maki. Why should you be uncertain?
Me? Uncertain?
Yes, you swallowed the very moment you told the court. It was I who explained.
I see there is little point in trying to hide anything from you.
Lamiwa, are you indeed protecting someone?
That is not a question with a simple answer. To tell the truth, I do not believe it myself.
Then allow me to answer for you. I mean, it... Yeah?
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Wait, I'm surprised that's even a question.
They're like, shit, we've gone too long without interactivity.
Yeah, really. Lamiwa, you are protecting Maki. That's why you lied and told us that you had explained how the crime followed the song. So is she not interpreting him correctly, or is he... What?
I just keep going, it'll explain it.
Oh, yeah, no, sorry, I wanted to put the question up, though. So, like, there's two possibilities here. Either Maki told Lamiwa something she doesn't believe, or Lamiwa is replacing what Maki said. Which I would have thought, based on how Clavier was talking earlier, that he would have been able to pick that out, but I suppose, you know, things have to happen in a linear order here. I don't fault you for trying to help, but this is not the way. Maki, I believe you didn't do it. Really. I trust you. But you've lied to us twice. And now you have Lamiwa lying on your behalf. If this is going to work, you have to trust me too. Your two lies cover up a simple truth. You understand English. You have to.
Witness, is this true? Do you understand English?
I like how there's now a distinction between yelling in Borginian and yelling in English. Yes, a little, only.
What?
First he could see, now he can talk. And you did not know about this, Lamiwa?
No, I did not. It's quite a surprise.
As it turns out, Maki is also a fucking Interpol agent.
How many secrets is this witness hiding?
Last...
Just
Oh, go on.
literally throws his hands up in the air.
Oh, God. Y'all, one of my best friend's sons is in the hospital. I can't be dealing with this today. This is last. Maki, could you tell us what really happened? No shooting. I did no shooting. So you weren't in the dressing room when I heard those 2 gunshots, correct? Apparently the answer to that question isn't simple either. Sorry, were you saying something, Mina?
No, I was just yawning, sorry.
Oh, okay. I was in dressing room, behind desk, manager, he on floor. Which would be after the shooting, right? Then there is voice. Sorry, hold on a second. I was in dressing room, behind desk, shot on the floor.
Voice or voices? Was it you and Emma, Apollo?
So when Maki went into the dressing room, Miss Latus had already been shot. And then we came to the door. Panel, high up. I take off. Run away. Run away. So you did vent! Oh wow, I was really expecting there to be an explanation for that wasn't that, but no. He did actually escape into the air vent. As the prosecution has upheld all along, no less. The defendant has admitted to being at the scene. Might we take this as a confession? No, he's clearly denied that he did it. I know shooting. Manager on floor. Already on floor. The victim had already been shot, you say? I find that hard to believe. The defendant understood the song lyrics. He was at the scene of the crime. This can only mean one thing. He is the shooter. Fucking... Are you dense? Like, I genuinely don't know if Clavier is just playing with people at this point, or if he does actually think... Or if he's trying hard to protect Darien. And he's just managing to act cool.
Does the defendant have anything to say to this?
He's clammed up, Apollo.
Let's ask Mr. Justice. Will you require any further testimony from the witness?
Is that it? Is there nothing else I can get him to testify about? Wait. No, of course there is.
What is this cocoon anyway? The cocoon, the silk, is a potent cure. A cure? Well, Maki, are you a smuggler?
Maybe he can use that as a bargaining chip. You're a genius, Trucy.
He won't tell me.
That cocoon has to have something to do with this. Maki, please, tell us the truth. For your own sake. No more speak. Not to any of you. So much for your precious trust, Hair Forehead. Hey, you were the one who didn't believe him. Regardless, this brings us to an impasse.
It does seem that the defense and the defendant are at odds. I doubt we are likely to learn anything more of value should this continue. I see no other course but to declare a 5-minute recess.
Wow, that was quick.
The defense will sort their shit out so that we might proceed.
just the judge sitting there going like, come on. In my courtroom, really? Oh no. Apollo Eustace. That's Justice. Please don't learn how to say that from Clavier. Better learn how to say it. Better learn how to say it if you ever want to get some. Apollo. He's your defendant. Believe. I know shooting. He claims Mr. Latus was already down on the ground when he entered the room. Yeah. That's where I've been thinking at this point, because the airtight alibi only makes sense to have if he was actually killed at a different point. But then he was laying on the floor with a gunshot wound for, like... What must be, like, an entire act of the show, which... I don't know how that makes sense.
Maybe it was a trap and he walked right into it?
Suddenly, I hear revolver. Close. Very close. Then, I hear voice. You heard gunshots? Yes, it's true. I hear revolver, but only sound. Wait, you're saying you went into the dressing room and found Miss Latus already dead, and then you heard shots? If that's true... Yep, there it is. The shots heard and the shot fired do not align.
So, you were at the scene of the crime when you heard those shots?
Interpol agents are trained in holding their blood in really hard. And you escaped through the air vent. I know.
Huh? What do you know?
I know if I opening vent, I can leave stage and backstage. So the vents went to both the stage and the backstage area. Is that what he means?
Hey, he's right. Look, Apollo.
Look at this thing I just drew on the map, Apollo. Huh. Yeah. But how did you know it was connected like that?
Wait, I bet his father was the architect that designed the hall or something.
I hear this from Magician.
The fucking magician.
Magician?
Don't look at me.
A magician, huh?
Well, at least we're clear on one thing. Maki didn't shoot Mr. Latus.
Yeah, but what does that leave us with? We're supposed to say he went into the room to find the body and then he heard the shots? That one's gonna go over well in court. Not.
Apollo, you're his defense. You're supposed to believe whatever he says, even lies.
Trucy?
That's what Daddy always told me.
Uh-huh. I'll just pretend you misheard him every time. So, what do we do?
You're sure you won't testify, Maki?
No talking. No.
Well, it was worth a shot.
That cocoon. Is this the same as... Oh, no, this is different.
I can't go home. Can't go home? I can't go home to Virginia. I do not want to go home. The penalty for taking a cocoon from Virginia is death.
That's right. It's punishable by death.
Death by cocoon.
Hello, Val. Of course. He's scared.
They truss you up like a Danganronpa execution. Just put you in a big cocoon and spin you till you're liquefied.
Yeah, exactly. Oh well. Guess we'll just have to try a different approach.
Meowdy, Val. That's the spirit, Apollo. So what's your plan?
If If Marky won't testify about it, we'll have to get someone else to testify.
Someone else?
I think we're out of time. Let's get back in there.
Right.
Oh boy, Apollo's about to do something reckless again.
Court is now back in session. Mr. Justice, have you sorted things out with the defendant?
Our shit is fixed, Your Honor. We had a good talk.
Very well. So, will he testify?
Your Honor, the defendant will not testify.
Of course he won't.
Shame. And here I saw this was your big chance to turn the case around. Actually, it is. The defense would like to approach this case from a different angle, Your Honor.
A different angle?
Oh god,
A court angle, perhaps?
Are we starting all over again? Oh, every day with you people. Marky won't testify, then I know who will. I would like to cross-examine the witness in this case, La Miroir.
La Miroir?
Objection!
What are you up to now? I thought we determined yesterday that La Miroir's testimony was insubstantial. There's nothing you can... La Miroir was taken to the hospital yesterday with injuries.
What happened?
Oh my god!
What happened?
She was assaulted, Your Honor.
Assaulted?
Someone wanted La Miroir dead. Thankfully, she was able to save herself. What? I've heard no such report. I wonder why. Prosecutor Gavin. Why would anyone be out to kill La Miroir? Can you think of a reason? Well, think of how she is known in our country. A singer from overseas who doesn't speak English. Yes. Yet someone tried to keep her mouth shut. Who could that have been?
You don't think.
I do. It was the same person who shot Latouche. The killer was afraid of her, afraid of what she might say. The defense believes that something was hidden in her testimony yesterday. Something that the killer doesn't want getting out. So, am I to understand that this is what you are saying? Namely, that there is a nugget of truth to La Miroir's state testimony? A nugget we have yet to uncover? Exactly.
If La Miroir was attacked, that has serious implications. Very well. There were some vague points in her testimony during yesterday's trial. Perhaps we did not inquire as deeply as we might have into some. The court will hear La Miroir's testimony once more.
La Miroir, I must apologize. We must ask you to stand again and speak.
I must apologize. I was not familiar with your game.
Yeah.
You need not apologize. I know that Maki is innocent. And I will do all that I can until the court realizes this.
Let's review your testimony from yesterday. You told us you heard 2 gunshots and the shooter's voice through the window, and that the voice belonged to Darian Crescent, yes?
That is correct.
At which point, I proved she could not be correct. She couldn't have heard any of those things. The small window at the scene was closed and was found to be quite soundproof. Rain on my fucking parade, Clavier.
You have nothing to say to that, Mr. Justice?
I don't know exactly what yet, but I do know there's something there. There is, it seems, much you do not know. Go on.
No, I just love that that response of like, oh, I don't know yet, but I will.
Yeah,
Just give me a minute.
Very Phoenix of him.
Yeah.
And yet it is my duty to hear him out. Perhaps the witness would be so kind as to testify once more to the court.
Of course, Your Honor.
What I heard.
I was on my way back from the stage to the backstage exit. That's when I heard them, Mr. Latouche and the detective. I heard the faint sound of a gunshot and stopped. Then I heard another gunshot. There was a smell of gunpowder. I knew I must tell someone, but...
You smelt gunpowder? Huh.
I guess if she has like Daredevil senses, I guess that makes sense.
Potentially, yeah.
I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past the small window.
Pretty much the same as yesterday's testimony.
I am sorry. I am not used to speaking much in this language. Perhaps my descriptions are lacking in some way. Yet, everything I have said here is the truth.
Then it is my distinct displeasure to say this. What you have said to have happened is impossible. Do I have to repeat myself? Lamois was attacked because of this testimony. What? Trucy?
Apollo, you know, for a moment there, you were pretty cool.
Maybe I do better when I don't try to think ahead.
Very well, Mr. Justice.
Don't think too far ahead. Think of the immediate things that are happening right now and don't think of the broader picture.
Perhaps you can coolly cross-examine the witness.
Are you a cool enough dude to cross-examine the witness, Apollo? I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. That's when I heard them. I saw Toots and the detective. I heard the faint sound of a gunshot and stopped. Then I heard another gunshot. It was the smell of gunpowder. I knew I must tell someone, but I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past the small window. Well, the new thing in her testimony is here.
Hold it!
May as well start there. Why didn't you tell Why is that what you're asking? Why didn't you tell someone immediately?
Well,
If it were me, I would have gone to the police right away. It's our duty as citizens.
This may be besides the point, but Lamois isn't a citizen. So one would hope such common sense prevails in Virginia as well. Oh, right, you kill people for stealing cocoons and shit. Oh, right, okay. maybe that doesn't apply as much as I thought.
Lamois seems awfully quiet all of a sudden.
That's strange. Could she be hiding something?
It is as you say, yet, at the time...
Okay, it's super weird we're glossing over the gunpowder thing. That's kind of wild. Alright, what else is there? Okay. On my way from the stage to the backstage exit.
Hold it!
Darian Crescend?
I did not know his name at the time. But yes, it was him, the one who took the stand yesterday.
How How many times do I need to remind you that's impossible? There is no way
How
you
many
could
times do I need to tell you that he's a liar?
Yeah. There is no way you could have heard him. Because the window at the scene was closed? Is that why? Of course.
Apollo, if we keep asking the same questions as yesterday, we won't get anywhere.
She's right. Maybe there's a different angle I can try? What were they talking about? Naimewad, do you by any chance remember what they were saying to each other? If so, please tell us.
I haven't given it much reflection, but...
I was afraid of this. She doesn't remember.
I only heard the one phrase clearly.
A whole phrase? You remember something that was said? Why didn't you say anything yesterday?
Though my memory is clear, I was afraid to speak. You see, I do not understand what was said.
This could be it. The clue I've been waiting for. Well, what did he say?
It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Latouche.
The shooter, then. Daring crescent.
Well, what did he say?
It's over. Press the switch, now.
Which? And the shooter said this to the victim, Mr. Latouche?
I thought it quite strange myself afterward.
God damn it, Vulpix.
It is a mystery. What could it possibly mean?
I mean, that could just be crosstalk from the stage. It's very vague. Let's overpress the switch now. And then she heard the shots.
Mr. Justice, care to shed some light on this?
I mean, sure. It's, very, very vital. Maybe we could add that to the testimony?
Maybe, Apollo.
Hold it!
And it was Detective Darian Crescent's voice?
Yes, I am sure of it.
It's over. Press the switch. Why did he say that to Mr. Latouche?
Apollo? The murder weapon, the revolver, was Mr. Latouche's, right?
Yeah, what of it?
Well, maybe when he said press the switch, he really meant to say pull the trigger. Because his English isn't so good.
Darian Crescent is a native speaker.
Oh. Oh, right. Sorry, I kind of forgot who was what.
I forgot who could speak what at this point. I'm completely lost. I feel you there, Trucy. Press the switch. Is that something a killer usually says to their victim, is it?
Was there no one else in the room?
I do not know. All I heard was Mr. Latouche and the detective.
Can I...
So, do you want, like, a small hint for this?
I'm gonna ask a question first. Can I get back to
Yeah.
the bit where I had a choice between topics and switch the statements that's in the testimony?
What did you pick this time? You picked what were they talking about, right?
Yes.
I don't think so, because I think you picked the one that they want you to pick. So
Okay.
you can't go back and change it.
Okay. Yeah, what does it want me to do here? So I got.
If you want like,
Mm-hmm.
if you need like a small hand, just let me know and I can help.
Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure I'm like thinking through this before asking.
Yeah. For
So
sure.
I got a new statement in the testimony, and we pressed it, and we didn't get a whole lot out of that. We're dwelling on press the switch. That's not something someone would usually say. Now, my larger my overarching thing here is this has got something to do with sounds produced by the earpieces. Whether or not, like, I can present, well, yeah, like, this isn't a contradiction, so presenting that doesn't really make sense here. Although it could be this thing, maybe. But this also isn't the format of presenting evidence to agree with statements, it's presenting evidence to contradict them. Yeah, give me a small hint then.
Okay. But yeah, this one's tricky because it's not asking you to find a contradiction, it's asking you to clarify.
Asking you to clarify. So it wants me to present something.
Something that makes this statement make more sense, yes.
I mean, it's a big leap, but I would say it's the mixing board. But then again, it could also be the remote? But I don't see how that factors into what's going on right now, because this is after... This is after the, This is after the second set. So Clavier's guitar's already burnt. Is it the mixing board? Or is that, like, getting too far ahead?
Are you looking for a yes or no?
Yeah.
No, it's not the mixing board.
Okay. Is it just the remote, then? But why would that happen at that... That's literally the only other thing, I think. Fuck it.
Objection!
Well, music dropped out.
How does that timeline... did someone set up a contraption to shoot Mr. Ladouce?
A doohickey?
Yeah. Press the switch. There's only one key that can unlock the mystery of those words. Oh? Yet there was nothing at the scene that could be called a switch. Saves the lights. True, there wasn't a switch at the scene, but it just so happens I have a switch right here.
That certainly does look like a switch, doesn't it?
The problem is, this was found not at the scene of the crime, but on the stage.
The stage?
Where the concert was held, yes. I just got a really bad feeling about this. This was found hidden there. On the stage.
Are you claiming the voice Lemuroir heard was of someone commanding another to press this switch?
It's a possibility.
Objection!
Oh, her forehead? I call that an impossibility. Why? It's hardly necessary for me to remind the court of the layout of the concert forum. The stage is quite far from Lemuroir's dressing room. Not to mention that the Governors were in the middle of a concert on stage. We aren't known for being a quiet band. You could shout all you wanted and not be heard.
The detective's voice was loud, but certainly not a shout.
So, too, have her forehead's cries of possibility fallen far short of being heard? Sorry, but he wouldn't have needed to shout. Excuse me? You heard what I said, or do you need me to shout it out for you? It would have been quite simple to be heard on the stage from that dressing room. Oh, wait, you like evidence, don't you? How about this? Oh, I love this Apollo. He smelt blood for the first time in the entire game.
Finally, he's getting his mojo back.
Yeah. Using this, it would be easy to get a message to someone on stage from the dressing room.
Take that!
Prosecutor Gavin, perhaps you're familiar with this. That's...
What is it? I love it when the judge acts like an excited child.
Yeah.
Is that some kind of newfangled phone they invented when I wasn't looking?
This is a type of transmitter, a communications device.
Communications device?
Just call it a phone, Apollo. It may as well be a phone to him. From what I've heard that night, everyone on stage was wearing one of these. Isn't that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, actually. They're for talking between band members. We all had one on. So you admit that if you were wearing one of these, talking from the backstage to the stage would be simple.
Objection!
True, but wait. So send out an electronic signal. To avoid interference with the audio systems, their range is quite limited.
Lemoir said it was about 30 feet, right?
Does anyone remember the sticker of Apollo from the front? The what?
Yeah,
Sorry?
yeah.
Sticker?
It was in Luca's server. It's from Ace Attorney 6. It's
Oh,
like Apollo, like,
big brain.
staring super intently, and
Yes.
he's got, like, a caveman brow.
Okay, yeah, no, right, gotcha. Look at this cross-section diagram of the concert forum. Ah. Why is there no measuring thing on this? You know, like a map? I can't tell what's 30 feet. Exactly. The walk from the stage to the backstage seems far. But the direct distance is less than 30 feet. Wait, are those circles meant to represent 6 feet? Or... Oh, what is going on? Oh my god. That can't be.
Trust your inferior American metric system.
What the fuck is a foot?
So, when Lemoir heard the shooter's voice, he could have been talking to someone on stage.
Mm-hmm.
Objection!
You're claiming this is the switch in question? Why did it have to be on the stage at the time? It could be placed in a pocket and carried anywhere. Someone could have hid it on the stage after the fact.
Hey, he's got a point. How do we know where it was when she heard the voice? When the shooter said, press the switch.
Well, I guess we don't.
An unfortunate situation. I'm afraid that until we know where the switch was, there's little point to debating it.
Sure, this was the way to go with this. What is this switch, anyway? We don't even know that basic fact. Wait a second. I do know what this switch is. And if you follow that train of logic to its incredible conclusion, it ends up in proof that completely changes this case. Does it?
Do you remember where you found the switch?
Was it in the guitar case?
No.
Oh, fuck. No, I don't remember where it was.
It was in the piano.
Oh, right, because, yeah, I was thinking it could have been, triggered by the piano.
So yeah, if it was triggered by the piano, and Lemuroir heard someone say, "It's over, hit the switch." There was only one point in the night when the piano was actually being used on stage.
Yeah. But Lamu was claiming to have heard that backstage.
Uh-huh.
Oh. Oh, is it? So I'm thinking there's an audio track thing going on, playing stuff in the past, and that would actually make sense then. Because that literally doesn't make sense. Because the switch should have been thrown during the second set, but Lamuwa heard someone talk about it after that. I don't know if that's like a right train of thought, but I'm just speaking out loud, because if that's not what it's getting at, I don't know what it's getting at all.
What's up, Apollo? Apollo?
We know about this switch, right? We know what it is.
Yeah?
Well, think of when it was used that day. Think of what happened.
Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no further information to share concerning this switch...
Your Honor,
Yes, Mr. Justice?
I've been remiss in not telling the court this before. I know what this switch is.
Well, it seems the defense is set upon linking this switch to the case. Let's see your evidence of the link. What evidence do you have to explain what this switch is?
That would be this guy. Prosecutor Gavin, you remember this. That's that.
But what? Is this another one of those newfangled phones?
This is an igniter. What phone looks like this?
Igniter? You mean it's like a lighter?
Yes, actually. You aren't saying this switch is a remote. I am. This is a remote trigger for an igniter. What? Look, I'll show you.
Yow, 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 yow.
Mr. Justice, you will cease and desist from burning down this courtroom.
Sorry, that was a bit more fire than I'd expected.
My whiskers had caught on fire.
Prosecutor Gavin, let me repeat myself. This switch is a remote igniter trigger. Doesn't that suggest something to you? You're talking about what happened to me, aren't you?
Ah.
Exactly. That night at the concert, there was one unusual burst of flame. When your guitar caught fire in the middle of your performance.
Wasn't that part of the stage show, though?
Prosecutor Gavin was entirely unaware such a thing had been planned, and the guitar that burned was a valuable keepsake.
That's right. He got it in Virginia from Lemuroir. He said the sound was amazing. Before it burned, of course. Now it just kind of smokes.
Everyone make sure you don't get paid in dirty Cocoon money. Agreed. Don't get investigated by the IRS. Also, hello. The better the guitar, the brighter it burns. Her forehead. Yes? Don't tell me you're trying to tie these two things together. Those being the shooter's voice heard by Lamiwa, and the guitar suddenly catching on fire. I am. It's really simple when you think about it. Missile
Quite shrimple, actually.
Quite shrimple. Hope you were in... Well, It hasn't pulled a bullshit on... Well, I mean, it kind of has, because everything is lies in this case. But it's fine so far. Mr. Latouche and the shooter were at the crime scene. The shooter was wearing a headset. He orders someone on stage to press the switch. The switch was pressed, and the guitar caught fire.
Well, that does seem to make some sense. Though something about it is bugging me. Can't quite put my finger on it.
Really? Seems pretty shrimple to me.
Objection!
Forehead, don't destroy what little respect I have for you.
The defense will refrain from saying shrimple.
I was expecting something a little more sensible. I guess I was wrong.
What's all this about, Prosecutor Gavin?
His shrimple story simply makes no sense. Sink. That night, my guitar caught fire, yes. The cause may have been this, indeed. However, the guitar caught fire during the second set.
Ah, that's right, of course. The guitar caught fire during Lamoureux's song.
Indeed, yet the shooting happened during the third set. The two are the two are utterly unrelated.
Yes, that must have been what was bugging me. The whole premise for this is faulty.
But what if it wasn't, Your Honor? Oh shit, he's got me there. See, his story makes no sense. Are you sure about that?
What exactly do you mean, Mr. Justice?
Maybe it's not the premise for my explanation of the switch that's at fault. Maybe it's our premise for the entire case so far.
What premise is this specifically?
I'm glad you asked. I'm saying that maybe the killing didn't take place in the third act.
Objection!
What's this? But Detective Emma Sky heard shots and found the body. All of this happened in the third act. Gunshots rang out, and according to his testimony, Maki was in that dressing room at the time.
Where are you going with this, Mr. Justice?
Stay with me, Your Honor. He also told us this in his testimony. Namely, that the victim had already been shot. We all heard gunshots, but no one saw the shooting. This is insane. Just before the shooting took place, the shooter was heard on his headset, telling someone to press the switch. The next moment, Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flame. We know that a remote-triggered igniter was inside the guitar. From all these facts, we can draw only one conclusion. The crime did not take place during the third act, but during the ballad performance, the second act. What?
Order! 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 But that goes against the evidence.
What does, Your Honor?
The crime was carried out according to the lyrics of that song, yes?
Hey, he's right, look. The bullet is supposed to come after the fire.
You're thinking about it the wrong way.
Huh?
Look, why would the shooter craft the events of the day to follow the lyrics anyway? It's an awful lot of trouble to go through, with little merit for the person doing it.
Well, I'm sure whoever it was had some reason.
Yes, they did. A reason that made it advantageous to follow the lyrics. You're saying the order was reversed on purpose?
Reversed, Prosecutor Gavin.
If the criminal followed the lyrics strictly, then yes. The shooting would have had to come after the guitar burst into flame. Yet, her forehead has raised another possibility. He's claiming that the bullet came not after, but just before the fire. Couldn't have put it better myself. We were only meant to think that the shooting came after the guitar burst into flame. That was the criminal's objective. The crime followed the lyrics to a point, but that was the ruse. Why else would the killer risk discovery by moving the body? That was the final touch to make us think he'd followed the lyrics the whole way.
Order! 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 That would explain this most unusual situation.
It does. The killer changed the order of events to create himself an alibi. In other words, the killer was someone who had an alibi for the third set, but not the second.
Objection!
I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but sadly it has. Let me tell you why your little fairy tale makes no sense at all. Oh, it sounds good, I'll give you that. You've given us a reason why the killer bothered following the lyrics of my song. But I question your logic, for it's flawed from the very beginning. Flawed? Yes, a contradiction, Herr Forehead. One I've pointed out several times, no less. At the time of the crime, the small window at the scene was closed. How could Laméoire have heard a voice through it? Oh. It's like all of that, and he's like, oh, shit, yeah, that makes sense. Why, how would she have been able to do that? Huh. I know that you would like to divert our attention from this critical fact, but you're basing your entire line of reasoning on a false premise. Right. Laméoire's testimony is my entire case. That voice she heard. Shooter's voice.
What if she couldn't hear it, Apollo?
Look, what do we have? A man saying, press the switch. Near the crime scene, we have a switch, which acts as a remote trigger for an igniter. And last but not least, Prosecutor Gavin's flaming guitar. It can't be all coincidence. But how do I make it work? I see a more direct line of questioning is required. Then the crime scene was investigated, immediately after the crime. That window was closed. Care to tell us how Laméoire heard the voice?
A key point, to be sure. Mr. Justice, can you explain this to the court?
Okay, Justice. We got one thing to prove and one thing only. Laméoire heard a voice. And she heard it during the second set. Think. How is Laméoire able to hear the voice? Wait, she heard it during the second set? But... Wait, no, she said she heard it after the second set.
That's what she claimed initially, but it only makes sense if she heard it during the second set, because otherwise there's no one on stage to pull a switch during the third set.
Well, no, sorry, you're misunderstanding what I'm pointing out. Laméoire's testimony is her after the second set, during the third set. And the voice she hears is something that happened during the second set. We're glossing over the fact that the time Laméoire heard that was during the third set. Because she said she heard it during the third set. That's when she heard the gunshots. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, just keep going.
Yeah. Sorry, maybe you're... Sorry, I might have dismissed what you were saying out of hand, but it sounded like it was... Yeah, sorry. Shouldn't probably have phrased it that way.
That's okay. I understand your confusion. This is a very stupid case, so...
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The window was open. She has divine hearing. She was somewhere else? Oh! Oh, so one... okay. But... I feel like the earpiece is the easier thing to go with here, but... I imagine she wouldn't have confused hearing something in her earpiece as legitimately hearing something. But if the whole point is this is playing the audio in a different time... Yeah, she was somewhere else. When we investigated the scene, the window was closed. The shooter had no reason to close it, had it been open either. Meaning, it was impossible to hear the voice through that window. Ah, it's good to hear you making sense again. For a moment, I was afraid you might be a Borginian too. Excuse me? Clavier, what does that mean? As I was saying, Lamoire could not hear the voice through that window. So there can be only one explanation. She heard the voice from another location entirely.
What's this?
Ah, you do amuse me so. And see, I thought you and Good Sense were back on speaking terms. Now I'm afraid you and Good Sense speak two entirely different languages.
Okay, he got you there, Paul. That line kind of burns.
Yeah. Shall I interpret for you, Herr Forehead? Lamoire clearly stated she heard the voice through that small window. And there is only one small window at the scene. Are you sure? What the fuck do you mean by that? Hold on. I don't really have a good look at the other dressing room, do I? Think about it. Isn't there another small window at the scene? What?
There is?
Ah, I know that look. He wants us to ask him. Very well, you claim Lamoire heard the voice from another location. Mr. Justice, show us where that location was.
I'm sorry? What?
Pounding the table enthusiastically. Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Oh my god, this took a swerve I was not expecting. What? What do you mean? What? Was she in the vents and she didn't know? What the fuck is going on, dude?
I mean, hey, if that's your best guess.
The vent? Oh my god, oh no. Oh, she heard the noise went through the vent and she heard it through the other room?
Take that!
This is where Lamoire heard that voice from.
Well, that's no small window. That's the air vent.
How many people were venting in this case? What did she tell us? Oh, fuck right off. Oh my god. Ugh. Ugh. Weren't we the word air vent has been used so many times. What do you mean? She said she's a Borginian, unfamiliar with our language. It's not a stretch to imagine she called this air vent up.
Objection!
What are you talking about, dude? You sound insane.
Is there a gas leak in here? What the fuck is going on? Now you've done it. You've gone beyond ridiculous and into ludicrous. So, Lamiwa was up in the ventilation system, listening to this man's voice? What do you mean? This is a tentative how count. That's the only logical explanation, yes. Logical? I do not think this bird means what you think it means, our forehead. Okay, what about it's logical? Oh my god. Huh. It hardly merits saying. Why would Lamour be in the ventilation system? Hiding like a rat. No offense intended to her, of course. Explanation for that is simple. Isn't it, Lamour? Huh?
Huh?
You've been listening to our discussion, here, yes?
Yes.
Is Mr. Clavier okay? He looks like he's having a heart attack.
I admit it's had me quite confused since yesterday. Yes, the small window was closed. But why should that mean I could not hear through it?
Are you telling me that this whole time she was in the vent and she didn't fucking communicate that at all?
I feared our prosecutor might himself need an interpreter.
What were you doing up in the vents? No one said anything about that!
What the fuck are you talking about?
You said you were walking back! You can't walk in the vents? What the fuck? The problem here is words. Sorry, I need a screenshot of that one.
Have I been punked, as the Americans say?
Yeah. Who is it? Is it the Aston Kutcher version? Gods, what the fuck? Lamoir, this small window through which you heard the voice, was it up high on the ceiling of the room, not low on a wall?
Yes, it was up on the ceiling.
What? Okay, hold on. Let's... Yeah, thank you, Judge. Oh, what? Okay, we just moved on
Witness,
from
you will
that.
clarify your statement to the court.
The courtroom blacked out, and I don't blame him. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to remember the actual phrasing Lemoir has used. she was like it sounded like she was walking past the dressing room. Like she was making her way to the backstage exit, and then she heard that. So, like, I'm trying to construct this in the way that makes the most sense. Like, she's walking through backstage, and she hears something through the vents. Now, her room. Wait, no, it's the Governor's room. The Governor's room is not the crime scene. I could believe that the Governor's room door is open, and the vent in the ceiling is like right next to the other one, right?
Yeah.
That might make sense. So she's walking down the hall, and she hears that voice happening. So, like, that's what that would be the most logical way I would think this plays out. The problem is that, like, I'm trying to think of, like, what part of this is, like, the bit I take issue with, assuming that's actually the explanation. And it's not stupider somehow, which... at this point. I think it's just an overall problem where this case is being very, very selective with what people who are speakers of foreign languages do and don't understand and what they're misconstruing. And that, like, no one pressed... And I guess that's believable, like, you hear the first thing and that's fine. Yeah, oh man, I'm actually having trouble, like, sifting through this situation. You know what? It's better if I just try and hear the explanation. But we've also been going for 2 hours now, so we should probably take a break here.
For the sake of our sanities.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not gonna put a point in Hal just yet, but oh my god. No, actually, no, I am putting in a thing in Hal. Like, the phrase air vent and small window have been said so much. The idea that Lamoire just didn't notice a difference or ask for clarification when being questioned about that is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
And, like, I like the idea of a case where... like, it's a Sherlock Holmes thing, right? Where, there's writing on the wall that or on the floor or something that says Rach, and someone assumes it says Rachel, but in fact it's actually a German word for revenge, or something like that. The idea...
Yeah, I think that's it.
The idea that there is something very small in two people's perceptions of a language that completely alters the view of a case is intriguing. It's, in fact, I would think, a good twist to put into something like this. But they chose small window and air vent. like, I could even give it more credence if it was just a vent in the wall, right?
Yeah.
Or like shutters or something like that. Something that makes it look like a window, but people are clearly drawing a distinction that requires language nuance that a foreign speaker wouldn't have. That would be cool. I don't think Lamoire would mistake the air vent in the ceiling for a fucking window.
Probably not.
Okay, yeah. Break time. We'll be back. I'm back. uh. This could have been avoided if she said small hole or something, and like maybe Apollo or Clavier says a hole, you mean the window. She says, oh yes, I suppose my English is not very good or something. Like, it's easier to believe a mistake like that happening if the word is given to her by, you know, a legal professional who's a native speaker. Yeah, and, you know, people are assuming it's got something to do with the window because that's how you'd hear it. Like, surely it wouldn't be the vent. That would be the obvious thing people latch onto, because there's a clear mystery of like, ooh, was it open or not? It's not supposed to be open at all, so, yeah, like, this is one of those things where, like, in a real-world scenario, someone can make this mistake. Like, this isn't completely out there, right? It's possible, depending on the language and depending on familiarity and just how much a vent may have come up in conversation, that someone mistakes that for a different word. But it's one of these things where a narrative and a story requires a bit more, like, setup and intentionality from that. Like you've pointed out, Volpix, if there's a precedence for either Lamiroir misunderstanding the language, and someone fills in the blank for her, and we all labor under that assumption for too long. Yeah, that I think makes a lot of sense. That, oh shit, we handed her that word, and she thought, oh yeah, this is the word for that, and just went on. But A, Lamiroir is enough of a fluent English speaker that doesn't read that way, and B, I don't think that word was fed to her like that. See, I would believe that Maki would fall for this, right? But the other thing is that, like, the positioning of this doesn't work either, because window, if you understand the word window, and I guess that's the thing that Lamiroir may not understand in this circumstance, window and vent are very different words. So when someone says vent, and you ask, oh, is that a window? People would probably say no, right? And I find it hard to believe that Lamiroir either A, doesn't know what a window is in English, or B, would mistake the use of the word vent for window and not say anything.
Hello, I'm back.
Welcome back. And like, you know, on one hand, we haven't had Lamiroir testify much to that effect at this point, because that's really only come up in discussions about Maki. But yeah, I think Vulpix makes a good point that I'll repeat for your sake, Mina, that this is one of these things where, like, the narrative needs to set it up a bit more obviously than it could happen in real life, because someone can make a mistake like this if they're not familiar with languages, especially depending on the words. But vent and window and how fluent, but I don't understand it fully, Lamiroir has been presented doesn't lead me to believe a mistake like this would happen. Like, it feels like it would more likely happen to Maki at this stage of the story. Oh, are you there, Mina? Hopefully not.
Yeah, sorry, I don't want to say anything because it's stupid.
Okay,
but,
yeah, no, sure, I understand. There's still more of the case to go anyway.
There is.
Yeah. Because, yeah, now I'm curious about how this actually is played out in writing.
I think the very next testimony gives her a more plausible reason for not wanting to say why she was in the vents.
Oh my god, wait, so she was... Okay.
Just, yeah. She's about to testify again about it, you'll see.
Okay. Cool.
Are you in fact saying that you were up above the ceiling of the room? And that's where you heard the moment of the crime?
Yes, in fact, I was.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I never imagined it would become such an important point.
Yes, well, why the heck were you up there?
I believe it's time for another testimony.
I'm not sure, I can't.
May I remind you this is a murder trial? We will hear your testimony.
Oh no. Is the vents connected to the goddamn trick thing? Oh my god.
Wouldn't that be funny?
Wouldn't that be funny?
Tell us why you witnessed the crime from above the ceiling of that room. Please.
Well, looks like I'm on the right track. Above the ceiling.
Yes.
I was above the ceiling when I heard the voice.
Holy shit. Creature.
I heard there was a small window there before. It was in the middle of my performance. I had no time to report what I'd heard. As to why I was there, I cannot say.
Are you really about to play coy about why you were in the fucking vents to hide a magician's goddamn trick? Is this what's happening right now?
This is very stupid, but it would be a much better reason for her to not say she was in the vents than, oops, I didn't know the word for vent. I am bound to secrecy on this matter.
This is a murder trial! Oh my god! There isn't a secret order of magicians that's going to exact justice on you if you speak.
You don't understand. The contract we signed with him, it was binding. He's going to take me for everything I'm worth. I would rather Maki go to jail than have to pay out that much.
I lied, Maki did it. Anything but the magician's wrath.
In my line of work, one has many obligations to uphold.
But you say you were in the middle of the performance. So this did happen during the second set.
Wait, yeah. What? She said she was... Oh my god, she's been lying about when she heard it the whole time. Oh, that's even more stupid. And it's... Oh my god, I hate this case. Oh my god. Through and through.
I did not witness the crime. You misunderstand. I only know what I heard.
Yes, but you must tell us what you were doing in detail.
That's what the cross-examination is for. Yeah, her forehead. Our mission in this court is to discern the truth. No obligation, no binding pact may hinder that mission.
Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination.
What are you gonna do, Apollo?
I'm going to find out the truth. She was up above that ceiling for a reason. I just have to get it out of her. It's stupid all the way down. Yeah. There was a small window there before that. I was in the middle of my performance. I had no time to report what I had heard. As to why I was there, I cannot say. For fuck's sake.
Hold it!
You heard the gunshots during the second set, during your performance. You're quite sure.
Yes, why would I lie about the time?
Why would you lie about the time? Like you didn't lie about the time the whole time.
Why didn't you tell us this yesterday?
Maybe she... Oh yeah, maybe she didn't say it, and we just... It was another thing we just assumed.
Yeah, like, oh my god. Honestly, this is another problem with this case. The fact that it starts off with something so monumentally stupid makes me forget which things were and weren't fed to us already. Like, it really feels that the whole twist with the blind thing, or the whole... even the whole premise of the case against a blind child, like, puts the player into a position where they are expecting to be, like, the game to be incredulous about this shit, so it doesn't take any of that seriously, or they don't take any of that seriously, but then when it does end up seeding things actually smartly later on, we've already been put in a situation where we're expecting something stupid, so we're not expecting something foreshadowed in that way?
I thought you all knew. I told you Maki was not the killer. I told you this many times. I told you this many times.
Yes, you did. But you never told us why.
I am sorry. I am not able to speak of it.
Unable or unwilling?
There's not talking, Apollo. What do we do?
We'll just have to prove it ourselves. As long as she is bound by this pact of silence, she won't talk. If I can prove why she was up there, she'll have to admit it.
But how are we gonna do that? She was singing on the stage, Apollo. She couldn't have been up above the ceiling too.
Yeah, she could. The stage is
Huh?
above the dressing rooms, Trucy. She was technically she's always above the ceiling. I've got a theory as to why too. Maybe I've got the evidence to prove it. Oh boy! Oh boy! Oh boy! Is everyone ready? Is everyone ready for me to throw
Oh boy.
fucking tape into this?
Objection!
Lamois, truth be told, the reason for your presence above that ceiling is quite clear. Especially when you considered what happened during your performance.
What happened?
Seize the wizard. I'm subpoenaing you. I'm subpoenaing you. I don't care about anything else. I don't give a shit about it. Yeah. Get me that wizard right now. Yes, it's all right here on this video. Oh. I know I focused on Clavier's model before, but hers also looks terrible. Unfortunately.
It's rough. It's fucking rough.
Yeah. Oh, but then that means the vents are connected to these two things as well. Huh. Yippee. As we can see.
Piss me the fuck off.
Yeah. As we can see, Together was clearly not on... Lamiwa was clearly not on stage for her entire performance.
Ah.
Though it saddens me to be so realistic, Lamiwa is incapable of vanishing, let alone teleportation. So the only explanation is that she was hidden from view. And during that time, she moved to the back of the forum.
Apollo?
What, Trucy?
It's not nice to reveal the magician's secrets, and it's against the rules.
Oh, I can't. I am not in the mood to entertain this when and this is a criticism of the writing. I am not in the mood to entertain this idea because A, we're in a murder trial, and B, the only reason this whole thing has been such a goddamn roundabout, spinning our wheels goose chase is because you wanted to respect a magician's trick. I have nothing but contempt for that idea at this point. But I'm a lawyer. I'm not supposed to be nice.
This is all very fascinating. But how is it possible? There is only 20 seconds between when she disappears and reappears. She couldn't have moved that fast. Is something wrong, Prosecutor Gavin?
This was his concert, his show. He knows how the illusion was performed.
Aha!
He's just realizing his own oversight. Let's look at the cross-section diagram again. Here, we can trace a route through the ceiling. It goes from the stage, through the backstage, to the rear of the forum. Also, I will say, it is kind of annoying that they just, like, hid this shit, and, like... I know that's kind of the point, but, like... We didn't even know the dressing room vents were connected. And I imagine that's probably going to be important. But, like... Yeah. This just feels like the cheap part of hiding something from the player, honestly.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks. Like,
well, I mean, this whole case fucking blows.
Oh, absolutely, but, like, I feel like it makes more sense if we work this backwards, where, like, the magician's trick is the first thing that we get rid of, and then we have all of this there, and then we can start piecing together, okay, what actually happened here? But doing it the way in the order they've done it has brought us to this point, and, like, not only is it just ridiculous, but it is just plain hiding things in the evidence you already had. TI, thank you, everyone. Recall Lamiwa's testimony from yesterday.
I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it.
Okay. Okay, now we have the literal line she was saying. So she's trying to conceal that... No, this doesn't make sense. On one hand, she's saying, I thought you all understood I was in the vents, but at the same time, she's hiding the fact she was in the vents to hide the magician's secret. You can't have that both ways. She doesn't get to say, oh, I thought you all realized that. It's like, no, that's where you double down for the lie of like, no, I was absolutely making my way down the hallway, and everyone's like, wait,
yeah,
what?
That's what I was saying before. It would make so much more sense if the reason she didn't tell you is just because she was intentionally trying to conceal it.
Yeah.
And not, oh, no one asked.
Yeah, no, And
no one asked is my least favorite rhetorical device, because, like, this is a fucking court game. Like, if you're on the stand, you probably want to give as much information as possible to help the case, you know?
Yeah, unless you are trying to hide something. Like,
Yeah.
that's the, yeah,
If,
and
th-
like,
if that's the intention, then go nuts with it, sure. But
yeah, and I could see another thing where like we're sort of going, well, no, that doesn't make sense. You couldn't have heard that at that time because you were on stage. And she's like, no, I was in the hallway. And Apollo sees a lie, and he's like, wait a minute, you weren't in the hallway? Wait, and then it all falls apart. Like everyone has this realization of like, wait a minute, she's lying. And it's the most reasonable thing to brush over because, like, yeah, of course, why would we question she's walking through the hallway? Like, there couldn't possibly be another way she would have heard it. But then she's really touchy about the subject, and Apollo presses, and it comes out that, like, okay, hold on, she can't have been in the hallway. She's lying about that. Where else could she have been? And then it comes out that the vents actually connect in that way, and it's like, oh shit. But no, she says, no one asked me. I thought you all knew, when she was specifically hiding that fact. Oh my god.
yeah, I think the issue here is kind of wanting to have their cake and eat it too regarding Lemiroir's morality. Because they want to paint her as like this extremely benevolent, like helpful witness. In order to do that, you can't have her lying except to protect someone that we presume is innocent.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with that is it forces her to act in irrational ways like that in order to support the structure of the game.
Yeah.
Because the game needs there to be contradictions and lies for you to break. And the only way that works in universe is if someone intentionally lies or is mistaken. And if she lies a lot, it makes her look like a bad guy, and if she's mistaken a lot, it makes her look like an idiot, so...
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Just sucks ass all the way down.
Yeah, no. Awful.
You enter the stage to the backstage exit. A perfect description of the route above the ceiling.
Okay. Okay.
What? No!
Whatever you say.
No! Wait, what are we doing? What is going on? Okay, hold on. I need to see the next bit of dialogue. No. 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 Absolutely not no. You don't get to play this as, oh, that was a clever thing we missed there. No! That's not how someone would describe moving through the vents. And she's also intentionally not telling you that. It would be better to make it an outright lie. Oh my... Jesus Christ. Lamiwa knew of this because of her part in the illusion. But she wasn't the only one who knew. What? Just now in the lobby, Maki told me something. I know if I opening vent, I can leave stage and backstage. He said that? Oh, were you not informed, Prosecutor Gavin? No, you were talking inconfident to your fucking, to your client. What do you take me for? I knew about the Vanishing Act, of course. Yet I had no idea of the routes that would be used. Why didn't that magician tell me?
Because he's a jackass. Magicians only reveal the details of their acts on a need-to-know basis.
Like, Clavier doesn't take any of the L's he's taken in cases personally until this happens, and he's like, I hate magicians. Fuck them.
Like that I think you should leave bit. Magicians suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
They like the bread and butter of a magician's life, you know.
Which is why he bound Lamour to secrecy. Well, Lamour,
I am impressed, Mr. Attorney. Maki was right about you.
So, what does this mean? Are you saying that you used the route above the ceiling?
I did.
Well, that's... But I'm still a little confused.
why is that, Your Honor?
As I said before... There was very little time between when she disappeared and when she reappeared. 20 seconds tops. How did she do it so fast? Especially if she stopped... Ah.
To hear the shooter's voice.
Yeah. To hear the shooter's voice.
That's a good question.
Can the witness explain this to the court?
I cannot.
Yeah, you're right, Vulpix. Like, it's a need-to-know basis. Like, I'm sorry. Someone was murdered. I don't give a shit about your little trick here. We need to understand.
He's going to break my legs, Your Honor.
Very well. Mr. Justice,
Yes?
wring the truth out of her.
What thing, Your Honor?
You need to explain how La Miroir was able to teleport like she did. Or I'm throwing your case out with the bathwater.
I'm sorry, what? You need to explain how Lamour was able to teleport like she... We just did.
But the judge, what the judge has issue with is how fast it was. The fact that she managed to do the entire thing within like 20 seconds.
The distance isn't that long? I don't know, she's Daredevil. Fuck it. She's superhuman because she's blind. Or she's not blind. Or she's not actually blind. Ugh. Why do I get picked on? It's Lamour who isn't going along with the program here.
As I stated before, I'm not at liberty to speak of the illusion that night in detail.
In order to tell us what you can. We'll hear your testimony on this. Mr. Justice, it will be your job to wring the truth out of her.
Yes, if you would, please.
Sorry, are you asking me to ring you? Right. I feel like a student before finals.
Please, Mr. Justice, there's a clause in my contract. If you can make me spill it, you won't take me for everything.
Unless Apollo Justice specifically forces you to tell him.
Good luck, Apollo.
The big illusion.
I followed that route exactly as I was instructed. There was an emergency exit in the backstage where a stagehand waited. From there, one can enter the forum on the opposite side from the stage. The plan was for me to move there in 2 minutes. I was on my way when I heard the voice.
2 minutes, you say? The mystery deepens.
Followed the route exactly as I was instructed. There was an emergency exit in the backstage where a stagehand waited. From there, one can enter the forum on the opposite side from the stage. The plan was for me to move there in 2 minutes. So she's describing what she would have needed to do without the vent being there.
Basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just like, it seemed like a non sequitur, but that's kind of the point. I suppose it was too much to hope that the judge would come up with something.
As does my curiosity.
Fucking hate when sorcerers try to make you solve their riddles. It's all, oh, can you figure out how to unravel my tricks, until you take a great con to their shins and they start pissing their pants. I'm just a little magician. I'm just a magical guy. You wouldn't make him that magical guy spill his secrets on his birthday, would you?
Take it away, Mr. Justice.
Right, Your Honor. All I have to do is find the contradiction between what Laminoir is saying and what we can see plainly in the video. 2 minutes, right?
I figured it out already. I am a magician after all.
I'm not going to tell you, though, because that would be cheating. Well, tell me.
Not a chance. I can't pull another magician's secrets. Come on.
Hey, you're supposed to be on my side here. I hate that this case is leaning on that so much. It's such bullshit.
Resorting to the Joe Biden. Come on, Jack. School of excuse.
Really? Follow the route exactly as I was instructed. Stagehand waited. From there, one can enter the forum on the opposite side of the stage. The plan was for me to move there in 2 minutes. That didn't fucking happen. It was less than 2 minutes, and I'm gonna say it like this. I'm hoping... No. Okay, sure. I'm done with this case, I think.
If you want me to just tell you everything to do, just let me know, and I will do that.
Okay. No, hold on. Let me... Because at this point, I'm thinking contradiction on the time it took her. Because it clearly didn't take her that long. Is that on the right track, at least?
No. They want you to believe it took...
Fuck?
Even though the video is not in real time. It is supposed to be a longer performance than is shown.
But the judge said 20... But, wait. But the judge said before, the whole point is how could she have done this so quickly? And then they give you a time that the judge directly contradicts, but that you're meant to dismiss. What the fuck is happening in this case? Oh my god! What? Emergency exit in the backstage where a stagehand waited. From there, one can enter the forum on the opposite side from the stage. The plan was to be... I was on my way when I heard the voice. Okay, what am I doing in this one?
You gotta press first to get more information.
Okay. Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. 2 minutes.
Yes, it can be done in 1 minute if you're running.
Running? In that cramped, dark tunnel above the ceiling?
Haha, Mr. Attorney. Have you forgotten? Dark or lit, it makes no difference to me.
Okay, no, I've completely lost the plot. Wasn't she implying that she didn't need to take... Oh, okay, no, she's not, yeah, okay. It wouldn't matter if it's dark or lit. But she's also not saying she didn't go through the vent, which is the whole point of her testimony. That's true, but...
So you're saying that on the night of the concert, you made the trip in 2 minutes?
Yes, though I nearly didn't make it in time. You see, I stopped halfway.
Laminoir disappears on the video for 20 seconds. I'm gonna go insane. I'm actually gonna go insane. But she says she made the trip in 2 minutes. How?
You want my professional opinion? I'll bet the answer's right there in that video.
Well, Mr. Justice? Something that can explain the discrepancy between the video and her testimony?
Evidence explaining the discrepancy. Why couldn't I just contradict it? She said it was 2 minutes. The video isn't even 2 minutes long. What do you mean? Present evidence. There's one piece of evidence that explains the discrepancy between the video. Oh, between the video and the testimony. Oh, hold on. Okay, hold on. There's one piece of evidence that explains the discrepancy between video and testimony. Oh, it would be the cross-section, right?
No, this one's kind of stupid. Let me know if you need a hand.
What else could it fucking be? Is it the video?
I'm not gonna make you watch the video again. Do you want, like, a more oblique hint in case you do want to check out the video one more time? And at least that way you'll know what you're looking for?
So it's something in the video?
Yeah, there is something in the video, a discrepancy, that explains something.
Lamenoir disappears on the video for 20 seconds, but she says she made the trip in 2 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna watch it once. Oh, I know what it's gonna be.
Yeah?
It's the brooch, isn't it? That's how it ended up in the room, because it fell through the vent. I will say that's a good use of the video. Something changed between the two cuts, and yeah, it's obviously not the most important thing on the screen at that point, but if you're looking for it. And it's gone. Although it doesn't... I will say, that's not a really clear shot of it.
It isn't.
It's just shot in a way... Like, there are 3 separate shots. One of them is art, which is too zoomed in on her to really see it. The second shot is her hair covering that section. And the first, like, her hair is ever so slightly in the way, and that could easily be missed.
Yeah, it's not great.
Nope. Prosecutor says 2 shots, the judge says 20 seconds. First shot, let's get this money! Newest girl, that's brilliant, thank you. Imagine squinting at a DS screen on top of that. Yeah, God, that's really not great.
Take that!
Did I? Oh, fuck. Oh, no, because I was presenting it, not presenting the mechanic. Lamenoir, do you happen to remember this brooch?
Aha, that brooch. We saw it yesterday, did we not?
It was found at the scene, Your Honor. And you're bringing this up now. Why? I thought we had already determined when that was dropped. So did I, but we hadn't. Take another look at the video. Like, it's also really disappointing because... Oh, sorry, Mina, were you saying something?
No, just coughing, sorry.
Okay. This is really disappointing too, because in Rise of Ashes, the video they used in that was, like, so good and dense with stuff like this, right?
Yeah.
So, it's kind of and this is a minor thing in the grand scheme of things, but unfortunately it feels a bit bigger just because this case is such a fucking mess. But the fact that they didn't even shoot that reveal as clearly as they could have, given how well the Rise from the Ashes video was composed, like, yeah, here you can see the brooch.
So she is.
Let's look a bit later. Okay, you can't see it from that angle. And that, yeah, like...
What? The brooch, it's gone.
why did they use that shot? Well, I know why they did, because of the art, but fuck. That is not clear at all. I don't even really have a good shot of her outside of the video. Actually, I could look at the video while we're looking at the video. Like, how high... Oh, okay, it does actually cross the border. Okay, that's... No. If the brooch was still there, it would be clearly visible. Never mind. I think that's probably fine. But I think the change in art style is also a little misleading, too, because you see it in the 3D, and then you don't see it in the art, and that doesn't scan as easily, if that makes sense.
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, that's better than I thought, but still, I feel like, yeah. What? Yes. The brooch disappears in the short space of 20 seconds. And it takes a full minute to run from the stage to the backstage. Which means there can be only one explanation. The Lemuel we see before the Vanishing Act, and the Lemuel we see after. What? What? No? Are two different people.
What?
The brooch was found on the floor at the crime scene. And not just on the floor, but on the floor directly beneath the air vent. Directly. Lemuel, tell me. Did you drop the brooch on your way from the stage to the backstage? At the very moment you witnessed the crime?
Yes, I think I did.
But then it wasn't... Wait, why are we claiming this was two people?
Order, Prosecutor Gavin.
If there was two people, the disappearance of the wait, no. Apollo, this undermines your case. What do you... From your expression, I gather you had no ideas this was the case, Sir Judge. I, of course, knew about it.
What?
Don't get me wrong, I wasn't hiding it. It just never occurred to me that the switch and the shooting took place at the same time. So, I was right. There was a switch. There was. Just before the stage's tower rose, Lemuel was replaced. But... why? No, I've gone beyond questioning why characters are doing this. Why did they write it so that there was a second person that looked like... Wouldn't it just be easier to construct this in a way that it was Lemuel both times?
Maybe.
Just before...
Probably.
Okay.
While we're on the subject, just who was this replacement Lemuel?
Why is the man behind the illusion? Valant Gramarye. I guess that explains why he was seen backstage.
This middle-aged mustachioed magician, just master at cross-dressing.
the wizard! At this point, a wizard did it. Like, who the fuck cares anymore? Jesus Christ. That's a hell of an illusion. That's quite the illusion. But I still don't get one thing.
Yes.
The switch happened before the tower rose, correct? So you weren't on the stage?
That's right.
But this fake Lamoire is still singing? And she's pretty good.
That's true.
Valen is just a really good wizard.
Come on, Apollo, that's an easy one. They were just playing a recording.
Oh, yeah, that too. The Zagavaners aren't some kind of air guitar band, Fraulein.
Oh, you mean I'm wrong?
When we play a show live, we play live. No recordings. What's the... Wait, what's the sound shit got to do with anything now? We did that whole minigame where we were balancing audio levels, and that still hasn't come up. But we didn't do a thing where we were playing tracks back to make it sound like... Oh my fucking god. I'm losing my goddamn mind. Perhaps you can explain, Lamoire.
Very well.
Yes, do tell, and add to your testimony.
I had to keep singing even while I moved.
What? You were singing?
Yes. Mr. Gavin expressed a dislike for recordings.
I guess that's why, Latu said that the siren saw something, because he actually heard her. Well, no, but that audio was... Wait a minute! How does Latu know that Lamoire saw something? She wasn't in the room!
I guess he was in on the trek.
Yeah, he probably would have been able to line up the lyrics with that then, I suppose. Oh my god.
So I use this.
Wait, so you were singing the whole time? Even when you were crawling above the ceiling toward the backstage?
Why should it matter where I sing when everywhere I go is the same darkness?
That's kind of a good line, honestly.
What if you were singing while you were walking?
Hi, Charles. I'm having a time.
That's right. Wouldn't the shooter and victim have heard?
No, because of the loudspeakers.
He was singing it right over their heads, after all.
That is right. Are you sure? You'd have to be pretty hard of hearing to miss someone singing in the ceiling. Once again, we come back to the state of the crime scene. Or the state of the scene of the crime. What state? Ah! Oh.
I know what he means. That old speaker, Apollo.
Too used to Apollo being the one that says the ack. The speaker. That speaker was blaring at the time of the murder.
That's for monitoring the stage from this room. Monitoring? It pipes in a real-time feed from the stage microphones. Useful for knowing when your set is coming up.
Satisfied? Although it is pretty funny to consider that just because of the time it would take for the microphone to receive the audio and then play it through the speakers, that they're hearing it essentially like in the ceiling a little bit ahead of the actual speaker sound. It's like suddenly it starts like Doppler affecting almost. Like, sorry, that's not the Doppler effect. Suddenly it starts echoing for some reason. That dressing room was fitted with a large speaker playing a direct feed from the stage. At my request, actually. So, Lamoir singing in the ceiling sounded just like Lamoir singing over the speaker.
Genius. Her voice was hidden by her voice.
That's one way of putting it. Lamoir?
I have just remembered something.
Oh, what the fuck now?
Do tell.
When I heard the noise, the gunshots, yes? It startled me, so I...
So, you...
I stopped singing.
What?
I forgot the words I was supposed to sing.
What? The song stopped?
Thankfully, it was the very beginning of the second verse. So many would not notice.
Forehead. That mixing board I lent you. Where is it?
In his pocket.
What has this got to do with anything? I've so lost the plot at this point. The mixing... Huh?
The machine, Paulo, the one that breaks music into tracks.
That's not... Oh my god, that's not what it does. Oh, this. I completely forgotten about it. Yeah, so did I. Let's take a listen. Oh? Oh, okay. What?
For a very brief moment.
Was it the pleasure line?
Yeah, there is a single beat before she says pleasure.
I'm gonna be real with you. That is... You could easily have interpreted that as a flourish.
Yeah, probably.
What has... Why are we even on this point? I'm so confused now. Okay. The song does stop there.
It does? I must have missed it.
Yeah! Same here! Oh, she only says it once.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The thing I was going to do that I realized I couldn't do while the thing was playing was actually pull up the lyrics to compare. Okay, yeah, okay, gotcha. I thought it was just the one, but no, it lines up with sugar, sugar, pleasure, pleasure. Yeah, okay. Alright, Alright, that... No, actually, I like that. I don't mind that. I just think that, like... I really wish I had an opportunity to look at the lyrics before that played, because I may have actually spotted it then. Look at the lyric sheet at the top of the second verse. See where it says pleasure, pleasure? Now listen again. Watch the video again. Yeah. And, yeah, it's a little not in tune. It's a little offbeat. It comes, like, half a beat in and tries to catch up. Like, you know, you've forgotten the word and then remembered the word and then tried to get back in sync with the song.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. This is evidence indeed. Uh-huh.
I believe we are guilty of making a terrible mistake.
The crime didn't happen during the third set. Oh, okay. Okay, I understand why we're doing this. It's more evidence that something happened during the second set
Yeah.
that, like, okay. Because I feel like we dived into this, I feel like we dived into this before we understood the point, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But... My apologies to any Twitch users actually named Apollo Justice. It happened during the second... during Laméoir's ballad.
God, this case is... Every time I see this case again, I just get reminded how fucking stupid it is.
Yeah.
If that is true, then no one on stage during the second set could have been the shooter.
Which means that Darian Crescend could have done it. He wasn't on stage for the second set. Well, Prosecutor Gavin? Fascinating. I don't believe I've ever seen a trial turned around quite so thoroughly. Yet, one problem remains.
What's that, Prosecutor Gavin?
Herr Forehead's theory does have a certain kind of logic to it. Yet it is entirely based upon Laméoir's testimony.
Yes? Is there a problem with that?
Well, it's quite simple, though it pains me to say it. What if she is lying to protect the defendant? Yeah, we don't have conclusive evidence of this yet. But you have no proof. All I'm saying is that the truth is as yet unclear. Until we hear directly from the man himself.
The man you don't mean...
Yes. Though he is a friend and band member, Darian Crescend must take the stand. I see no other way.
As someone with a new perspective on this case...
As a suspect, to be frank. Okay, he is actually going along with that. Or he's just talking up the big game. Finally, the rat's coming out of his hole. I'm ready to catch him. Darian Crescend, get ready for justice.
This is a good time as any to pause for a brief recess. The prosecution will summon the witness. Have him ready. Have him here and ready by the time we begin.
I'm the last man who needs to be reminded of what his duties are.
Very well, court is adjourned for a 15-minute recess.
Oh dear. There's quite a bit more of this case left, right?
Mm-hmm.
don't think we're getting it done by the end of this stream. This case is too exasperating to speed through.
Sadly.
Yeah.
Apollo, I can't believe it. It really happened during the second act? And right in the middle of Lemoire's performance?
The reason why she was in that air vent, and that switch, and the flaming guitar. When you link it all together, that's what you end up with. Oh. I knew you had what it took. About time, asshole.
Ah, Daddy!
Mr. Wright, you believed in me? Not really. Huh? I just thought that'd make a cooler entrance than, say, higher. Why do I even bother hoping?
Where have you been lately, Daddy? You haven't been coming to the office at all.
Ah, sorry about that, Trucy. I'm on a secret mission.
Secret? You mean like you're undercover?
Like Miss Latouse, only shorter and not as well dressed.
Oh no, what if you shot too, Daddy?
Would I do a thing like that to you? Phoenix? Anyway, I'm off for a while again. Huh? You're leaving? Oh, one thing before I go. What? Good luck. Right. Is that all you came to say? I think you have things pretty much under control. You'll get Maki Tabai off the hook, no doubt. Yeah, but you're after that detective, aren't you? Darian Crescent. Won't be easy proving he did it. Especially not under the current court system. The current court system? What did Prosecutor Gavin say during the trial? Your case is based on one fragile assumption. Namely, that our Diva Divine is telling the truth.
What about all the proof? The brooch and the switch.
Your case is based, thank you, Cookie. A piece of jewelry and a lyrical blunder. There are plenty of other ways to explain these things. The flaming guitar, too. All because you lack definitive proof of their connection to the case.
But
If the sultry songstress is lying, your case melts like butter in a frying pan, leaving behind the faintly singed scent of failure. So what do I do? Like I said, good luck. And be aware that it will be impossible to prove your skill by conventional methods. Ugh. Oh, that reminds me. I have something to give you from our detective friend. Detective Sky? Emma? Let's see. This bag of snacks here was meant for me. Ah, here it is. What the fuck is that?
what are those, Daddy? They don't look like very good snacking material.
They were found at the scene. Analysis of the fragments revealed traces of gunpowder.
Gunpowder?
Probably a firecracker or something similar, like the ones kids are into these days. These fragments were found under the sofa at the scene of the crime, actually. Under the sofa?
Hey, Apollo. That's where we find that little device thingy.
Right. This. Oh. Gunshots. Yeah. Oh, finally, some evidence that makes sense. Found at the crime scene, bearing gunpowder residue, possibly a firecracker? That's all from me, I suppose. See you after the verdict. Maybe. Right. Every man has an igniter inside him. Oh god. Trucy, don't touch that switch. Hey, excuse me? Find Darian Crescend's igniter and set it off. I like the sound effect there, like he just switched a cape that wasn't there and just walked out. And he walked out the door just like a magician, normally.
What does he want us to do?
Good question, Trucy. So, you think this is some kind of firecracker?
Yeah, one of those noisemakers, like you shoot off on New Year's.
Do you know that in China they use firecrackers on New Year's to scare off evil? So it's kind of the same thing.
Really? I had no idea. Well, did you know this? It takes more than 500 peanuts to make one 12-ounce jar of peanut butter.
At least my useless fact had something to do with the evidence. That's rude, Apollo. Shut up. Okay, I think that's it. Doesn't look like it really forms anything, at least from what I can tell.
No conventional methods. What does that mean?
I guess we just have to take his advice and hope it makes sense when the time comes.
I guess.
We're almost at the finish line. Hang in there, Trucy. Lion caught Apollo. Do it.
Order's now back in session. Prosecutor Gavin, where is Detective Crescend?
In the witness lounge, ready to be called at any time.
Very well.
Might I add, I don't believe any of this. Darian, was the first detective I ever worked with. We stopped working together when he moved to Criminal Affairs, Division 3. 3. But his guitar playing fires my imagination. Ah, I see. That's nice, but it has nothing to do with the matter at hand. Correct? Oh, I know. Her forehead. Oh, her forehead.
Very well. Call the final witness to the stand. Detective Darian Crescend.
Oh, this is gonna be a lot of me talking.
Yeah.
Name and occupation, please. Darian Crescend, Detective Criminal Affairs, Division 3. It's the International Affairs Division, for those who didn't know. And I'm a guitarist for the Gaviners. Maybe you've heard of us?
You fully understand the circumstances under which you stand before us today.
Stop being flippant in my courtroom. I've had it up to here with everyone. Yeah, I understand, Your Honor. What I don't understand is how you let this happen, partner. You gave me your word I wouldn't be standing here. The situation's changed, Darian. And don't call me partner. Ouch. So much for old friends. I see what you're doing, Darian. Oppressing the prosecution. Your Honor, if we could begin the trial.
Yes, high time we did. Let's hear your testimony. You may begin with your response to Lameroir's testimony.
We're getting quite close to usual knockoff time. And I feel like this case has probably got about an hour or two left in it. Do we want to stop here? Or...
Unfortunately, we might have to, yeah. I do
Yeah.
have work in the morning.
Yeah, okay, good. I'd rather do that than try and push on to get to a point or anything like that, because, yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but, funnily enough, I might actually have an interrupted weekend next weekend anyway, so we probably wouldn't have been doing that to begin with.
Yeah, I will. Just a reminder, I will be unfortunately unavailable for the next 2 weeks because I'll be at a wedding.
Yes, I do remember that.
But hopefully, starting in August 3rd, I'll be back.
Alright.
Hopefully, some time away from this bullshit, stinky ass case will do you well.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, let me save here and go back to the main menu just to kind of round things out for the day. Yeah. It like I don't want to. Like I already did that. Yeah, that's fine. 20 seconds later. Awesome. Oh. Did I hit exit game instead of main menu? I think I did. Whoops.
It's fine.
Oh. I'm firing back up just to have the background music at the very least. I can't... I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, but I'm still surprised this case got even stupider. I just...
Just pure, unadulterated bullshit.
Yeah, it's kind of insane. Like... I need to go back over the case again to really, like, be precise with all of this stuff. But, like, I will say, just going through it end to end, as we have so far, like, it just doesn't make sense. The gas just keeps leaking. Yeah, it really does. Like, there's just so many contrivances and convenient things that aren't said, that aren't believable that they weren't said in this last bit here, that, like, yeah, I have essentially lost the plot at this point, and I no longer care. Like, and it's unfortunate because, like, some of the setup here does have some neat... the case does have some neat things in it. Concepts that I think were cool but executed poorly. That could have made this, like, a decent case with, like, just a bit of contrivance. And I've said before, I have a pretty good and strong ability to suspend disbelief. I will usually go along with what a game is trying to do and just meet it where it is as much as I can. But there's only so many times even I can stomach actually, this is a complete blindside, this thing was complete bullshit, this thing was never talked about, this person just did not mention this thing in a murder trial, and the way it tries to dress it up in, like, the magician shit, which I'd be on board for if it was just, like, maybe the first thing that you unpack and it's just like, oh, here we go with magicians again. But, like, it holds back so much important information in order to try and make it twisty that it ends up just being like, I can't follow it anymore. And the second I can't follow it and I can't try and follow its logic, and I start disengaging from trying to think that, the more it is inevitably going to feel like it is fumbling. Because I might be able to go back through the case and put together these things a bit more and see, oh, okay, it did actually set these things up. It did actually mention this before, or it cleverly didn't say this thing before. But, you know, how did I end up here in the first place? Oh, right. We were saying that a blind child shot a magnum. It just does no favors trying to keep that up. And, yeah. It would have been so easy to put, like, a wig and a copy of Lamua's outfit in the dressing room. Yeah, or, like, I don't even get why that is even necessary. Why not just make it even more like happenstance that it does actually just take 20 seconds to get through the vent, and that was enough time to encounter the thing. And it seems incredulous, but that's exactly what happened, and you can tell because of the evidence that we're presented. But no, it's just... Oh. And now people are just employing and then Lamiwa is just employing the magician's defense in the very last bit of the case where I'm the least tolerant of the case doing its bullshit. It's just from front to back. Actually, it's funny. It's funny. You mentioned that Shutakumi was thinking of the endpoint and working backward, and obviously the steps make sense backwards. But
I mean, I don't think that's what he said. I think so because like we're basically in the end game now. I can actually explain this a bit more in depth. So he wrote this case with the idea that Darien was actively interfering with the investigation, that he was using his connections as a cop to hasten the proceedings and erase anything that didn't point to Maki. And then he just, because he had that in his mind, he just forgot to include it, like, clearly in the story.
Oh my god. Because that was one of the first things I pointed out, was like, hey, this seems like this whole thing is being rushed. But at no point does it actually connect that to a person.
Exactly, yeah. And if they did, it wouldn't be good, but it would be more tolerable than it is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, all of the moving parts in this case are just I don't, it's funny, I don't ever want to say something like this, but this just feels completely unsalvageable. This is a ground-up rewrite. I've had to consider how many ways to rewrite certain things that at some point I just have, my instinct would be, if someone was asking me how to improve the story, I would say, rewrite the thing from the ground up.
No, exactly.
Sorry, go on.
Sometimes that is just how you have to salvage a story. One of the first pieces of writing advice that most writers get when they're getting formal education or when you're learning from other writers is the idea of kill your darlings, right? There might be something that you think is super clever or super interesting or groundbreaking that no one's ever done before, but it doesn't add anything to the story, so you have to take it out because otherwise you get a bloated, unfocused narrative, and that's just not something that people are going to enjoy reading or experiencing.
Yeah.
In this case, it feels like it could have used a lot of paring down, a lot of darling killing. There is about 5 layers of obfuscation too many, and all of them are cool on paper, interesting on paper, but when you put them all together, it just makes for the most frustrating experience.
Yeah.
It feels like he wanted to do so many first-time things. What if for the first time we have the defendant be, a child? What if for the first time, we have the defendant have a disability that, adds a wrinkle to the story? What if, we, involve this magician's trick that prevents characters from being able to talk clearly about their involvement in the plot and whatever.
Yeah.
But when you throw all that in it's like you have all these ingredients for a stew, and they're all very tasty on their own. But when you throw them all together, it just muddles the flavor and it tastes disgusting. Yeah,
all of those things feel like in previous cases they would have been the core of it. This is the thing that will get revealed at about the 80% mark that throws the entire case on its head, that needs to be rethought through a lot, and it has a satisfying conclusion in that you are forced to re-look at these things through a new lens. But both because you've got a limited time, a limited amount of words, a limited amount of characters, and a limited amount of just time, putting all of those things in there has this situation where again, like you said, too many kind of core ingredients kind of spoiling things when they don't mesh together. But you also then make a lot of the characters and their actions seem even more nonsensical, because there's so many of these things happening at once that it's not possible that characters aren't questioning some of the stuff that's actually coming up. And you also exhaust the reader's, like, ability to follow and think about what's going on when every single thing eventually is pulled away underneath them consistently throughout the whole case. I think I just, toot my own horn, but I think I described it pretty well, where it's just like, I've completely lost the plot. I don't know where this is going to go. The amount of times it has presented me with something to immediately twist it into actually that's not the case is kind of insane.
Yeah.
And it leaves you in a position where something is presented to you, you start questioning immediately what the twist with that is going to be. And when you're trying to backflip before the story does the backflip, you miss a coherent story. Because I can't follow what you're telling me.
It's like, it really does feel like too clever by half.
Yes.
if you made the
100%.
mystery simpler, it would be more enjoyable, because the bullshit in this case is all of the extra layers of obfuscation. If it's more straightforward, it's more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Like, the previous case had 3 different mysteries at the start, but they all dovetail together to a single coherent, plot before the end. So it does the opposite, where it takes something that seems complicated and narrows it down to be really simple by the end. All of these incidents were connected to the same, initial incident, and all of them provide important to solving the crime. And you get this information drip-fed to you in a very deliberate manner, so that you never are thinking way too far ahead. This case does the opposite, where it starts out seeming really simple, and they just keep piling on bullshit until there's too much and it collapses under the weight.
Yeah, and to bring it back to the kind of, like, format I was talking about, where, like, to bring it back to, like, this is the core, this would be a core mystery in another case. It really feels like, this obviously doesn't hold for every case, but you start off with, like, something that seems, like, kind of out of pocket, doesn't seem to match up, and slowly things are filled in to the point that you start making a coherent story. And then you have a trial, then you have more exploration, then you have a trial, and, depending on the game, you could have multiple of those. But there is a clear, like, increase in, like, the number of characters and the amount of information you have, and how much you have to put together with all of that, right? And at some point, it will twist. What this case feels like is nothing but that. That section of the story where it twists. And it just doesn't give any room for the initial evidence to breathe, for that to naturally kind of come all together, for all of these things to tie up before that happens. It just feels like it is twist, 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 twist throughout the entire thing. Like the fact that we had someone who, like, was blind but then wasn't blind but then is, can speak this language but then can't speak this language but then can. It just feels like every single variant of the thing, of the twist, appears in this. And that is red flags to me, because I'm like, you can't do this multiple times in the same case. Unless that's the point, but it's not, because there's so many other points it's trying to... Oh, man. When everything is a twist, nothing is. Yeah.
It's just too much.
It is very much doing too much. And that sucks, because I think there's a lot of potential there. Like, a blind person mistaking where they're hearing something. The earpiece on the ground, potentially, I even had a completely different series of events that's just, like, completely gone. Well, I mean, the fucking firecrackers. That's a perfect example, actually. Gunshots. Okay. we've been presented with music stuff, so maybe something's being fed in through the speakers or the earpiece to make the gunshot happen, and those gunshots were recorded before, and then someone just moves the slider on the music, and it sounds like it happens in the it sounds like it happens through the speakers. Actually, no, that was fireworks. Like, what? And yeah, it's just that it's another twist, and at this point, and when it twists again, I'm just exhausted, and then when it presents another twist again, I'm even more exhausted. This case is fascinating in that way. Just like, yeah, like, this case is bad, but this is the case I'm the most interested in rewatching, because I need to try and follow it even more. I'm so fascinated by how densely bad it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a lot of fun dissecting this with you when we're done.
Yeah. I might even like, just because we're not gonna have it for a bit, I might even like refresh myself on the entire case and just like, I don't want to do it too much.
Honestly.
Yeah, like, I don't want to do it too much. Part of the reason I do streams like this is to try and, on my feet, try and think about what's happening and dissect it there, because that's the thing I want to exercise. I think I'm pretty good, like, sitting down and actually having the time to do it, because I have the time to think through it. But I think this particular case warrants a bit more of a thorough investigation, because I am so done with this case's shit that I am inevitably gonna hand-wave something that might actually be good, and even if I can say, well, fuck this case, it didn't put me in a position I believe it, I still think it warrants showing how much is actually missed by this whole thing unfolding the way it does.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I guess I'll have 2 weekends worth of streams to have a think about that. But yeah, that is going to be it for Ace Attorney for today. And as Mina said earlier, yeah, we won't be returning to it until August.
Most likely, yeah. Unless I can... No, I'm not going to say unless I can, because the 20th is the day of the actual wedding. The 27th is the day I'm driving back home. So, neither of those days will be doable.
Yeah, no, and nor would I want you to be in that position, like, just getting home, assuming you're even on time for something like this, and then immediately doing worst Ace Attorney case I've ever seen. I wouldn't want to subject you to that. So yeah, that's likely the plan. For the more foreseeable future, though, I'm doing Extreme and Savage stuff this time around for Dawn Trail, so I imagine there's probably going to be a smattering of streams then, depending on what days we figure out we're going to do stuff. There's still Elden Ring, where I'm probably going to run off a bit, because I don't think I feel like mashing my face against Renala. So we're probably going to have a wander in the... Was it called the Shadow Realm, or is it the Shadowlands? I forget which. The Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. They named that place, and I'm drawing a blank on the bloody name.
The Shadowlands?
The Shadowlands, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, so, probably some 14. Probably some Elden Ring. I might... On the week... Okay, so there's a couple of games... Well, actually, I need to look back a bit, because I feel like I've got 2 games that were on the weekend on the run. I've got Life Eater to finish. There's also Click Holding from Strange Scaffold as well. And, like... I don't know if that's going to be a good stream game, but the narrative concept of that has me so intrigued that I might stream that. But yeah, I've got to think of something to do on the weekends. But between Roll Quest and 14, which I might actually do on stream on the weekend, and some stuff I already had planned for once I get through Life Eater, that'll probably be the weekends for the next 2 weekends. I don't think there's anything else for that. Have we got anyone we can raid? No. Man, lots of people went back to Elden Ring, apparently. I'm kind of surprised people aren't done with it at this stage. Considering it was like...
It's a pretty big game.
It is, yeah. I suppose, like, the thing is I do follow a lot of people that play 14 as well, so they probably had a lull in...
Also true.
actually playing it, so it kind of keeps going. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there. I'm starting to hit the wall too. I think this case has actually done me in. So that's a good time to just kind of call it. So, yeah. 14 and Elden Ring during the week, most likely. On the weekends, we're going to be finishing off Life Eater, and then some other game soon. Oh, there's a Path of Exile expansion coming out soon, and I think that actually might be the 20th. The weekend of the 20th. Wait, no, 27th? No, yeah, weekend of the 27th, because it's going to be it's going to be Saturday morning, 27th for me. So yeah, that might also fill in an Ace Attorney weekend, depending. Yeah, we'll leave it there then. So, thank you very much for watching live or on the VODs, I really appreciate it. Hope you all have a lovely day, and I hope to see you all next time.
Bye, everyone.